Futures lower here to start this morning as we get going into Fed week. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll get the latest decision on interest rates. As of pre-market this morning, about a 60% chance of a 50 basis point cut coming through from Fed Chair Powell on Wednesday. Meanwhile, negative outlook possibly here on iPhone 16 pre-orders has not only Apple to the downside this morning, but dragging the overall NASDAQ into negative territory as well, about 0.4% right now for tech in general. So negative to start the week after 2-3 days to the upside heading into the weekend. On Friday, what will the Fed bring coming up on Wednesday? I think the market maybe in a bit of a wait and see here ahead of this. Will it be 50? Will it be 25? Let's be honest, does it even matter at this point?
I don't think so, because, you know, we're talking about the same percentage decrease by the end of the year, whether they do it in 25 bips or 50 bips all at once. I guess the messaging is probably operative there. Maybe they know something we don't know if we get that 50 bips, Brendo. So I think that might be met with some selling. Lots to talk about today, guys. Intel in focus, crypto as well, dropping below that on the weekend. Google getting a downgrade and DJT moving again, Brendo.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we're in limbo, I think, ahead of, you know, some sort of catalyst to come. Will it be the Fed? Will it be something else possibly? I mean, Michael Noss was touching on this. We'll get to him coming up this morning as well. He was touching on this going into the weekend. You know, we're expecting chop until November as far as the market is concerned. But just to show you the difference here, here's the SPY or the S&P exactly basically where we closed on Friday, just very, very slightly to the downside. Whereas I said, NASDAQ down better part of 0.5% now, 0.45 in negative territory. So an Apple story to start here that looks like this morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, Apple, a couple of points to the downside. They're not the worst of it. Is this really the first time that we're hearing about iPhone demand issues? Like in the last year, it seems as if there's been maybe 3 or 4 times. I don't want to get the number wrong. 3 or 4 times that we've seen something just like this. Apple's down a couple of points on it, and usually you get a bit of a rebound. We'll see what happens today, but there is some movers out there. Upstart took it on the chin this morning. They're down after an offering, so things not looking good for them. Bitcoin lost 60,000 over the weekend. I was surprised to see DJT wasn't moving around more with the latest assassination attempt, but still going to be plenty to get to. I know everyone's excited. Hey, we get Fed on Wednesday, but you still have a couple of days. You get the decision on Wednesday. You got a couple of days worth of trade that we should be excited about, right? Now, if you get sideways days, we talked about this on Friday with the lesson of the day. It was kind of a sideways day on NVIDIA, but then you looked across the board and an ARM was going haywire. So there's always something moving. That's what we're here to find. The best movers out there, and go Philly tonight. Because that's all we got left in our suicide pool. Thank you to the Baltimore Ravens.
Any bigger of a disaster possible. Or you come back and you take the best, the biggest spread. That doesn't always matter, but oh man. I just want to say shout out to this subscriber here, A. Bork. Right here he goes, Sean is going to poo-poo the Apple story. Yeah, and then I laughed. So then he laughed, or that subscriber, he laughed as well. Look, I mean, down 2.5%. We actually, regardless of the story, we sort of talked about this when it was the Glow Day or Glow Time event there, that we were coming up to a nice level. We could probably get into all-time highs, and that's what we did. I mean, we got there within a couple dollars, and then since then, it's just been a fade back down. This whole story about Apple is going to be, are the orders coming through? So any negative story about that is going to send the stock down, and then when you get the report that this is false, or you know that someone else reports higher demand, then it's going to go back up. So, but you had a dripping spot right here, 216.50. So you lose this little level here. I mean this is what we don't want to have happen, but I think it will happen today. So Apple back down through 216.50 or so. I mean, I like that short. I think it's something that we should be thinking about. So yeah, I mean, it's too bad. It's too bad that these stories come out, but hey, sometimes they're true. I don't know. I mean, what am I to know? I mean, these guys are supposed to be doing research.
In theory, that's their job. I mean, analysts are supposed to do research. They're supposed to come out with reports and tell us that. The good thing for us is that we get the price action, right? Like Apple's bottom from last week essentially is going to come right into play. And it's going to be, it feels like a bizarro day because Apple's down 2 points, NVIDIA's down almost 2 points, and Intel's up 2 points. So it is what it is. I was doing a test fill. So The position board's being worked on, so we're doing some testing to make sure we could get that figured out. So I got in and out flat of a position.
Why did I hear that noise? It made me thought Randy was here.
No, you can't hit that without Randy.
Like, Randy's here. Good. I need a coffee. Where is this guy at?
Mine's still warm, actually.
I know. I was super late getting in. No, but the thing about Apple is, I was just looking at it again. It's been sideways since June. So nothing's happened. So, I mean, it's just like up and down, and that's a nice story. Like that right there, that breaking spot is what I think you maybe need to buy. 212s, 213, something like that for Apple. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens here, but it's pretty sideways for a little bit. I mean, the same is true for a lot of these big cap tech names. Meanwhile, you get names like Colgate, Palmolive, and some of these other names that continue to get to the high side. It's just kind of like a reweighting of where people are storing their money. And right now, Apple and big cap tech just waits for these interest rate cuts, and then I promise you they start to rip.
We were just saying the same thing. I mean, I feel like we sat here when the headset came out and talked about the exact same story. And then when the actual sales numbers came out, they were 10x or whatever it was, what everyone was expecting. So we'll see what happens here. But if you missed it this morning, there's reports, iPhone 16 pre-orders missing. Estimates, Mr. Noss coming up. He's going to talk a little bit about some semiconductor action, why home builders, we should be watching home builders possibly next as we head towards, earnings season's right around the corner again. Like, it's crazy how
right, no, it's the overlap or the turnaround is just too quickly.
Yeah.
So banks coming up soon, so we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, with interest rates in focus, that's going to have an effect on net interest income. We saw net interest income actually play a part in their balance sheet last time. The amount that they were paying out in these shorter dated treasuries was not equivalent to the amount that they were getting, basically, on some of the interest that they were paying. So we'll keep an eye out on that because that was an issue for some of them.
We mentioned Bitcoin there, not Microsoft. We mentioned Bitcoin there to start things off. MicroStrategy just breaking to new lows here. If you remember back on Friday, it was 1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin picked up by MicroStrategy on yet another debt raise. So they raised debt and then they used that debt to buy more Bitcoin. So 1.1 billion, but just saw a new alert there. Session lows here, guys, for MicroStrategy.
Yo, MicroStrategy.
When levering goes bad,
they had a moment on Friday. MSTR.
Was it ripping on Friday?
Yeah, it was absolutely ripping. There's a few things that kind of, like I was saying, ARM was the shocking one because, when on a day where not all the chips did crazy things, ARM did some big time moves. Now MSTR, this was a big breakout. Wish I could tell you we had it, but it is what it is. Like, this was not one that we necessarily saw coming. Obviously, you have the reverse split. It broke out a local channel, and all it's doing right now is essentially trying to give half back. Like, the afternoon dip support level is 138, and it's holding underneath 138. Like, that seems like a bit of a key one. And when you come back over, can't believe it's 65% that we're going to get 50 basis points. I thought that might hang a little closer to 50-50. Looks like we're going to get that. But you lost 60,000 on BTC over the weekend, and that's sort of the story. Like, we just keep coming right back to 58,000 on Bitcoin. I don't know what it is, but every single time, like, you just seem to find a way to hang around that price. You trade away from it, next thing you know, we're back. We're breaking away from it, next thing you know, we're right back to 58. If 58 loses the bid again, then this was another false break at 60,000, and you got to be looking for some shorts. Now, Coinbase, I like a little bit better. Just the way that it sets up. MSTR was ripping faces off on Friday. Coinbase essentially broke out in the morning, then failed that breakout in the afternoon, and trended down from midday on. And now it's looking like it's trending right back in. Could see a retest of 150 at this rate. But I just like this one a little bit better. You can look at the previous close, 163 to short pops. It's a head and shoulders, 166. So I want to look to short pops in Coinbase just over MSTR, especially if we lose 58K on BTC. MSTR was just squeezing to the upside. Coin, that reversed quick in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I want to go short many things. So I wrote down NVIDIA 120. We'll talk about that when that comes through. I don't know. I was looking at the 50 period here. This is just a 20-minute chart. This is IBIT, so this is going to be crypto. And if we're going to look at Bitcoin, and if you're going to look at Bitcoin, I was thinking that, the 200 period of 3250 If we drop into there, that's another 80 cents down. I think that could possibly hit. And then again, we can, you'd have to look at the Bitcoin chart itself. But I was just thinking, I mean, it's pretty choppy. And then I was looking at Mara as well. And I mean, I was thinking the same thing, that there wasn't really much here when I was looking at the 20-minute chart. Nice downside move. You're going to open up right at this level again. So it's kind of like down where the 200 period is $15. So there could be a little bit of action down there as well. Nothing really looks so great to me as far as longs. And then top end, we're not really there yet either. So many of these names, I think today will be a little bit of a hold for me. I'd like to see if we could short 35s up into this little gap area here for IBIT. I think that could be something. But I know Michael's going to talk about, and I see him getting ready there, I know he's going to talk a little bit about home builders. But, I mean, let's pour one out for everybody shorting gold. I mean, this has been a huge sort of move right back up to the upside now. And you want to talk about a fear trade or a fear indicator or something like that. Obviously, we have volatility in the VIX. But, I mean, gold breaking out like this right now on GLD continues to be a great spot for traders that are nervous about anything that's happening here and want to just get their money into something that maybe is a little more stable heading into interest rates. And then I don't know if if Apple keeps going down, I just feel that there could be a nice little run on gold here, especially since it's broken out. So GLD on traders' minds as well. Let's go back over to the desk.
All right, as mentioned, we'll bring in Michael Moss here from Trade Ideas to get a look at what he is keeping an eye on going into this week. One of those weeks, Michael Moss, happy Monday, where we get the Fed, we get some maybe macro type influence on the overall market. We got to look maybe in the cracks and in the shadows to find opportunities that might not necessarily be as influenced as the rest of maybe big tech or some of the other areas with the Fed.
Well, that makes me feel like an old man, because I remember a day in 2008 where home builders was the move. These things were going crazy with the housing collapse, but maybe, again, the gray in the beard, I guess. But absolutely, Brendan, it's going to be a wild week. Regardless of what happens with the Fed, I think the market's just getting ready to price in crazy moves. We talked about this a lot with the election seasonality as well, right? It's the time of year that we're going to expect volatility. So we can just go to the first chart where I just want to show semiconductors. We talked about this a little bit at the end of last week. I talked about how, yes, this could be a catch-up trade. We could get people piling back into the AI trade, but this does look kind of toppy, and I want to show the relative to all-time highs that we are in. So it was a great week last week, but didn't make up for the week before it, a little bit of an inside week, and still quite a bit off all-time highs. So like as Brendan was mentioning, I spent my weekend looking at other things. Now, I heard Sean just mention gold there. You guys know that I love gold, and I'm in a lot of gold, but that's already broken out. So can we find something that maybe on the cusp of breaking out might push towards a breakout that we could then take a trade-off? So what I found is XHB. So this is our home builders ETF, and all-time closing high. You can see a bunch of, you got to be really squint because there's still a bunch of highs above us, but on a closing basis, which Charles Dow taught us was the most important print, we made an all-time high on XHB, and generally not a bearish thing for the market. If the people who build homes are breaking out to new all-time highs, it means the market is expecting more home building to occur and these guys to make more money. So if you want to look at it from a macro point of view, you could say, hey, XHB generally not going to be making all-time closing highs if the markets and the world's about to explode. But I liked not only that it was very relatively strong to the overall market and very relatively strong to semiconductors, which have been the play all year, but you can see that kind of range or base that it's making here on the weekly chart. So instead of just trading the ETF, which absolutely nothing wrong to do if you want to just add a little bit of home builders to your portfolio, I went under the hood, which is something that we do at Trade Ideas, to try to find a name that looked interesting. I settled on KB Homes. KBH. Now, you'll notice that this chart looks very similar. They're going to, right? If XHB breaks down, there's no hope that this thing's going to be staying up. Just FYI, there's not a lot of home builders out there anymore. 2008 was obviously a big flush for them. They never really recovered too much. So it's, you could pick Lennar, which I saw had a massive insider buy very recently, I think over the weekend. They're all going to look pretty much the same. I just like the look of KBH a little bit better. And while we're on this weekly chart, up in the top, I saw that it has a 10% short float, which isn't tiny. It's not massive, but it's not tiny, but that equals 7 days to cover. So that means if people have to run for the fences, if they have to start buying this, it's going to take them 7 days of covering only to get out of their position. That's a pretty big number. So when I see something hitting new all-time highs that has a pretty good days to cover, that's where I want to look. I just highlighted that I have this new trade wave indicator that we're talking about all the time on my charts. It triggered a buy a long time ago. It's been doing a great job trading this on the weekly chart, but it means we are in a buy zone. I should be looking to buy stocks on lower time frames when it comes to KBH here. So yeah, perfect. That's a zoom in of the short float right there. I love that. Next one here is just the daily chart. You can see triggered a buy on the trade wave yesterday as it broke out and again made this new weekly closing high. But if you draw a trend line, there are some other highs above us. So how I want to look at this is I really want to see over the next, ideally it waits till Thursday, to be honest, after all this FOMC stuff, but I want to see it consolidate, or I want to see it, have a bit of a time before breaking out. If it breaks out, I'll probably just end up taking it. But I drew this nice little downtrend line just to say this is, a downtrend line. If you connect those prior highs, you could also draw it horizontally and just look at the 56, 50, 57 area on KBH. I like the look of that. Last chart is just a zoom into the intraday chart. This is a 30-minute chart. If you want to start taking a look at playing this, it makes perfect sense that we had some struggle on the 30-minute chart at around this, 86.50. That zone was a problem. So if you want to trade a little bit shorter term, it seems like that's an area to watch. So I'm going to keep an eye on that 86.50. If it pulls back, it's all the way at 81, 82 that I see support. And my worst case stop would be under that massive low, and that's at like 78. I think that happens. So worst case scenario, that's where I'm going to put my stop if I take a breakout. Again, I'm watching this. If it happens today, I may take it, but as a swing trader, again, with the as big as this FOMC is as a swing trader, I think I would like it if everything just kind of waited until then, but I don't control the market, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we can even spin that, Fed narrative with this group as well. If interest rates are coming down, obviously the cost of borrowing going to benefit not only the home builders, but people buying said homes as well. That said, huge move over the past, you just showed that 30-minute chart. What was it, 3 days to the upside already? Is there an expectation of where you see this heading?
With the beauty of something like the trade wave indicator, which again is a moving average system that we build, and it just uses simple moving averages, is that we're trying to ride this trend. You can use, the problem with new all-time highs is you don't have a prior resistance area to put a target, so it becomes very hard. I've seen my buddy JC at All-Star uses Fibonacci extensions. That kind of makes sense to me. For me, I'm going to take a moving average, and I think it's probably the easiest way to do it. Either trade wave if you're a TraderTV subscriber. If not, use TraderTV20 at checkout to save yourself 20% off. Or you just grab a moving average, a 10 period or a 20 period, whatever your time frame is, and you just try to hold it until that moving average breaks. Because when you're in these all-time highs territories, things can periodically get a bit wild, and you want to make sure that you're not capping that upside and you're participating as long as the market will allow you.
Apologies if you've mentioned this already, but I saw somebody ask on Friday when you were on, is there back testing capabilities with this new wave indicator?
Yes. So on the bottom, if you just pick any chart, and I should have highlighted this, but I will. We'll talk about this maybe. So not that chart. Actually, you can go up to the daily chart. They will be on the bottom of every chart. I think it just wasn't there by the time I took the screenshot. But in the very bottom right-hand corner, what it will do on every single stock, and this is on the web and this is on the download, you can get it on both, it will tell you what the trade wave has done on this particular stock, both from the long side and the short side, over whatever time frame you're looking at. Now, perfect right there. So again, I'll show you, and I'll show you what it was doing for the weekly chart on KBH on Friday, or on after the close when I'm on. But the beauty of it is that it will tell you what stocks it's working well on, and it'll tell you what stocks it's not working well on. Because with any trend following system, and I'm going to keep mentioning this because it's very important, is you will get chopped up if it's not moving. It's just the way it works. You know, we know that certain trading styles work well when the market's trending, and certain trading styles work well when the market's not. So our goal when we're trading a trend following system like TradeWave is to try to guess which one is going to be trending. But we can look at that for every single stock. The second you bring it up, there's that back test right there for you.
Conveniently, QR code on screen right now. Anybody wants that. Trader TV 20 gets you 20% off. Michael Moss back on the recap after 4. We'll see you then.
I'll talk to you then.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, Michael. We'll see you after market tonight. And yeah, the home builders, I mean, I saw obviously KBH doing pretty well. DHI, DR Horton making actual fresh highs. It's going to, barring something crazy, it's going to open at its 52-week high, as a matter of fact. So the trend has been to the upside on these. Maybe not particularly a catalyst going into today, but I think you can do worse than looking for things that had been in strong trends and then looking for the upshot on some of them. What's interesting, though, is that's going up, but yeah, we're just very, very slowly falling on the NASDAQ here. And it's not like there's nothing crazy going on. It's just, you know, we've been very slowly moving down since the early morning here, now 0.5% to the downside. So it looking like it's going to open with a little bit of weakness. I think you got to blame NVIDIA and Apple for most of what's going on there, but just a very slight and steady decline right now in the futures going into 9 o'clock here.
Yeah, Michael was mentioning there the home builders. We talked about, well, we knew that he was going to talk about that. And he said that, why would the home builders be breaking out if people weren't sort of fearful of the market or were more positive about the market? Well, it's kind of the other way around with gold, right? I just feel like, why would this be breaking out if traders weren't fearful of, potentially the equity markets going the other way? Home builders, again, great work on DH Horton. I think that could be a one there. I love the 10% short float that he was talking about. My whole thing about all of this is that interest rates, right? I mean, we're going to get 50 points, it looks like 60% chance of 50 basis points there. That's huge for home builders. So that's another sort of headwind that tailwind, that I really like for that. So XHB, if you just wanted to play, and I know that he was mentioning this, so we don't have to talk too much about it, but XHB, the home builders, just breaking out and looking really good. So there's taking out 120. Again, nice move over the last little bit. I just get a little nervous buying something that's basically parabolically breaking out. Like you just bounced off the 50 3 days ago, and now you're at, I guess this is all-time highs. So just, maybe not, but at least recent highs. Just seems a little nervous to me to be playing that. But yeah, I mean, again, add some ETF spice to your life. Best I got.
I was just looking at crypto a little bit. Somebody was saying crypto was moving, but here's, we touched on it briefly there, but I mean, we're still in this channel, firmly in this channel, chopping around, trying to hold just below 60,000 here for Bitcoin. I mean, overall, an uneventful week last week. We did have that initial move higher. We fade into the weekend, continue to come off a little bit here. Another market seems to be sitting on the sidelines, kind of wait and see here as well.
Exactly it. And that's what's the crux of the article that I read this morning, preparing for crypto. Market highly uncertain about the size of the Fed rate cut coming up, whether it's going to be 25 bips or 50. A lot of speculation that 50 bips could actually negatively impact some of these risk assets, which Bitcoin is classified into. The market is currently pricing in a sub 3% fund rate by the end of the year. That's obviously bullish for the name on the long or the intermediate term. So we'll have to see here, Brenda. I wasn't able to find the outflows, though, sadly, from last week.
Well, yeah, we'll double check on that. I mean, I looked at IBIT on Friday. It wasn't even really doing anything, so not a terribly active day going into the weekend. Boeing, worth mentioning here, gapping even further to the downside through that low from Friday and then some now. Day 4, I saw this morning of this strike. Do you remember what that number was we were saying? Going into the weekend, what it was going to cost them per day of this strike. It was just astronomical. but day 4 of this manufacturing strike here for Boeing.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that. But basically, the idea is the strike is not going to be short. We're talking about 30 days plus. The last time that they struck in 2008, it was actually for a longer period than that. It was an overwhelming majority of machinists who voted to strike, 94 some odd percent, basically dismissing that 25% increase, looking for that 40, Brendo, and definitely wanting some more in terms of health benefits and the like.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Just made a session low here, guys. Not a lot of participation yet here, though, for Boeing.
Yeah. Boeing, you know what? I'm not going to.
It was. So I know the number roughly. Just I don't know the number. I wasn't here on Friday, but it was. They have 32 planes they produce about per month, and it was they make about $10 million per plane. So I think it was about $300 to $400 million per month.
Yeah.
So you're looking at about $10 to so million a day. I think it was. I mean, could be more than that probably. But yeah, I don't know.
It was.
I mean, it's just breaking lower. I don't know what to tell you.
What's crazy? Yeah. What's crazy about it is, like, it actually held the low, like right away at the open in the pre-market on Friday. It looked like it was going to be, oh goodness, 52-week low breakdown underneath it. And then the very first thing that happened when we started the show was Boeing started bouncing. And we just kept on going, and then it got right to green and absolutely flushed it. So the only good news is it's still on the daily above the previous 52-week low support, which is 156 change. And the price action underneath that was in the pre-market, so good for Boeing, and then that's the case. But I feel like if it breaks 155 today, like, what are you going to do? Like, that's breaking that support, and I just don't know where the bottom necessarily would be at that point. It's a bit of an Alamo here. So if 155 goes, I can't think of anything but why you wouldn't be shorting, or at least looking short in Boeing. The daily chart just says lower highs and gentle trend since it failed the 200-period moving average. So not much has changed here. I think if it goes anywhere near that 162, 63, clearly there's selling in that price. So I don't know that you're going to get what reason does it have at this point to get that bounce? It already tried to do that bounce on Friday and failed it. Yeah, Boeing's a short till it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing. I was just looking at getting some orders ready to go for the TQQs and stuff like that as we get this thing, ready to go in a minute. Yeah, no, look, it's breaking lower. There's really no support levels. Neil just hit them. You've now broken through everything that you thought would hold in around here, this 164, 165. Now you're just creating a new channel. So, you got to short the top, and I think you got to break this bottom with it, right? So, I don't know. It's a 25% raise over the next 4 years, something like that, is what's being proposed. They want 40. That's a big difference when you're talking about how much that will wind up costing Boeing and shareholders. So, if they're at that number and they're not even close and they're willing to hold out a month plus, like, it's going to wind up getting pretty expensive for Boeing, and I don't see I don't see a clear way here, a clear path for them to get going. So. And the stock will tell you, right? If it breaks above this 165, then I think you got to go. And then you just hope that the moments are behind them. But if you don't, then this short just continues to bleed through, right? So remember Micron, remember other names like Occidental. Like, remember what happened when everyone thought Occidental was going to hold Warren Buffett's 58 level? Well, I mean, now you've broken 58, and we'll get to energy, I'm sure, but you've broken 58, and then now a battle like this. It just did what Boeing's doing, trying to create a level, and then it broke 56. So it's just like, when sort of the support stops getting there for companies, this can be what's happening, and it's already happening to Boeing. So if you break below, then this could be the next stage. So this, to me, on Boeing, was that 160, 158 area. So if we continue to lose that, then I'm looking for a downside push there. Of course, that's Occidental. But I just think it looks eerily similar, where you're just going to have trying to build a level here and then just break, and then it's see you later. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with Boeing. But I don't think you can be stuck long here unless you're playing the long-term game.
Super long.
All right, let's have a look at the market. As we said right out of the gate this morning at 8:30, S&P holding up much better than the NASDAQ here. We'll talk about why in a second.
56.29, guys. We are basically just a little bit below that overnight high of 56.37. To the support level, we're going to look for that consolidation zone that we were in on the 12th, 5600 as support. As resistance, look at this top end of the range here, 56.70. If we can break through that, we're looking at a nice move back into the July highs.
It's a tech-related story so far today. If you haven't done so, go down to the description of this video. Right now, there's a link there for the watch list. All you have to do is enter your email address, and then you get the watch list for free every single day. Right to your inbox, has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market daily. Apple looks like this, 2.5% right now to the downside. We're testing lows from, what is that, Wednesday of last week? Already through that level, but 217 trying to hold right now at the lows right now for Apple, on reports that, hey, guess what? iPhone 16 pre-orders may not be living up to what was expected.
It is that analyst again, Brendo, Ming Chi Kuo, estimating that the first week of pre-sale orders missed big. The iPhone 16, the pre-orders came in at about 37 million, which is about 12.5% lower than its iPhone 15 counterpart from last year. There's also a shorter delivery time for the Pro version, which is the more expensive of the versions. So that's not a good look either. Basically, we're talking about 3 to 4 weeks of delays, Brendo, for the Pro version compared to the 8 for the 15 last year. So not a good look here. Some of the reasons being cited, possibly that it's not being released with Apple Intelligence, other China competition. So we'll see.
So I'm sure it's been done, but someone should do a back test on how many times pre-orders don't meet up to expectations, how many times that actually follows through to the downside. I bet you it's very few, but down anyways today, guys.
For now, 2.5 points to the downside. Last week, it was the story of the 50-period SMA on the daily for Apple. Like almost every single day, you were either opening or closing adjacent to it, and the last fail break happened on Friday. You know, it's got lower highs going into it. If we lose 216.5, that's a flat bottom break here on Apple. But keep in mind, like until we're actually breaking underneath that. We saw that with Boeing, although Boeing on Friday, when it was breaking a flat bottom, it had already made the bounce. By the time it got to the open, it was kind of bouncing higher. And in this particular case, we're just languishing on the low here. So if 16.5 goes, that's a flat bottom break. If it does not go, I think it can get all the way back in. It wouldn't surprise me to make a run at 220 here. I don't know about going green on the day, but the 220 level would make sense. If it never breaks that low, I think you'd have to wait until 220 to find some resistance there on Apple. But right now, it's setting up a flat bottom break at set open. Until the level breaks, it's support till it's not. That's always the way you got to look at things here. So we'll see in the long term how it works out. I mean, ultimately, usually it's a bit of doom and gloom, and then the numbers end up okay here. I think they're going to sell a bunch, but I'm not an analyst, so it's what it is.
They are going to sell a whole heck of a lot. I wrote down Apple. I don't even want to go short Apple. I just want to look for a dip by long. So I think that it will get washed out a little bit today. I wrote down 215. Everything else on this name is short. I haven't talked about it here on the sticky note. Let's go short. Watch out for SMH. Watch out for this iPhone story. Watch out for Micron heading lower, right? And so I'm still head over to it at Trader TV. Sean, grab the sticky note ASAP. But let's see this fail. So forget about all this. If you can get a 223 or 222 today, great. But I don't think that's happening. I'm pretty negative about right now today. Heading into Fed tomorrow, I think it will be a buy situation come Thursday for the Fed. I just worry that we had the best week of the year last week, and that was preceded the worst week in over 2 years in the NASDAQ. So volatility's here, and I think if there's going to be a name that you might want to hide in, it could be Apple. I think Apple's going to be fine. The amount of cash that they have, the services they have, these AirPods. It's not just the iPhones. Let's get that first of all. But at the end of the day, weaker story, not helping this name. I look for a buy down into here. This is 214, 215. So I want to look at 215 today. I think it comes in, and I think we can buy this level until we're wrong. I wrote down on the sticky note that we're going to be wrong at 214. So I want to give this one at least $1. I'm already on the bid right now at 215 quarters for Apple, and I just want to see if it holds that level. There's not even that much here. It's just you could see. you know, there are some wicks in. That's a nice drop off. We recently sold some Apple a couple weeks ago into that glow event at this 222, 225 area, which turned out to be a good sale. Not the best, not the worst, but pretty good right now. I feel like Apple gets bought up at some point, and I'm looking at 215. So let's let it wash down on. I mean, do you know who made this report, first of all, here today? All right, you can go get our watch list on tradertv.live or something like that. It comes up on the screen in a minute. TF International Securities. So TF International Securities costing Apple billions of dollars. So yeah, let's do some research on who exactly TF International Securities is before we start to hit the stock down 2.5 points. So I don't know. We'll wait to see what happens. But Apple's a buy at 215.
All right, let's talk about Intel. We've given it all back already. 2.3% right now. Still positive on the session, back above $20, but as I said, we gave back that initial move altogether. Yeah, $3.5 billion in government funding coming through possibly for Intel here.
Yeah, it's a security deal here. So they signed a binding agreement with the U.S. government. It's for the Secure Enclave program. Essentially, the program aims to establish a production of advanced semiconductors for military and intelligence purposes. Basically, there's the detractors of this deal are saying you're over-relying here on Intel, and Intel's unproven itself. Just to give you some context, Brendo, here's how much Intel's gotten so far in terms of money from the last couple of years. $8.5 billion in grants, $11 billion in loans, and now this $3.5 billion deal, which could help with liquidity issues. So a lot of money, Brenda.
Yeah, we were just talking before we came back here to discuss the 60.9% before at the end of the day on Friday on the year, negative 60.9% on the year. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends over at Moomoo. They're shaking up the investing game with their cash sweep program, offering an incredible 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, far surpassing typical stock returns. Your cash earns interest 24/7. You can access it anytime to reinvest when the market turns. Plus, sign up now. Snag 15 free stocks and bonuses up to $2,300 in Canada. Don't let your money sit idle. Limited time. Go take advantage, guys. Shout out to our friends over at Moomoo.
Randy coming through. He's already cheers. I've got the lesson of the day here.
You've got the lesson of the day. I've got just the regular.
But I wasn't muted, of course.
Just the regular Trader TV mug we got there. Thank you very much, Randy. We appreciate you, brother.
How's the weekend, Randy? Short and sweet.
How was the golf game on Friday?
Good. Some short, some long. You know what I mean? Well, the team shot -5, but we were just playing best ball. I shot some. I mean, I had some nice shots. Some nice shots. It was fun times.
How did you do on our hole?
Don't golf enough. Oh yeah, how did we do on our hole? I mean, yeah, we only parred and birdied, so I have to find out. But yeah, hole 6 was sponsored by Trader TV Live. It was a great event for charity. They raised over $100,000 for Sick Kids Hospital and rare heart issues for infants. Emmett Foster. What's up, Ramin? Me and Ramin were both extremely, I don't know if she was late today or not, but I definitely was. What is that? Oh, you're only 5 minutes late?
What's she stealing over there?
She's writing, she's taking a highlighter from us. But you know what? I was just looking at this. That sort of surprised me when Brendan said that. Like NVIDIA right now changed since January 1st, 140. If you come over here, this is kind of cool with trade ideas. I mean, everything has it very, very simple. NVIDIA is still up 140%. Since January 1st. Cool. Google, right? Changed since January 1st. Google still up 13%. That's not bad. You know what I mean? You're panicking like, oh my God, what am I doing with Google? This is a complete dumpster fire. Let's go over to another one. Let's check out ARM right now. ARM changed since January 1st, up 96%. All right, what's the story on the screen? When Brendan said this, I was like, I went immediately to trade ideas because I know that it's here. We talk about this on the market recap show all the time. -61% for Intel. I mean, what a disaster sitting in this stock has been. But I think, this is probably flushed out. I mean, let's just, you know, there's going to be bad news coming out. Imagine. I haven't heard anything about the Dow or about it getting kicked out or anything like that. But if that ever happens, obviously that will be another liquidity event that will send this name to the downside. And I think obviously just temporary again. But I wonder about this area. Like, if you're not in Intel right now, they got grants. You know, we're going to obviously through the election. We know that Donald Trump's been talking a lot, obviously, about keeping the chips inbound here in the U.S. They're already building these foundries. The story's already there for Intel. They've already pushed out expectations into 29, I believe. So there's, you know, like the bad news is in this name, isn't it? Like, I kind of think, you know, if you wanted to play some like weakness in the market and this name can drop into like, again, 19-ish area, I don't feel like it's that bad as long as you get that stop at 1850. Like, the risk to reward here that you just bump up $3 is very doable. And if you took this same logic just last week or 2 weeks ago, you're in at 1950, it goes to 22, and then you can just trade out of it if you didn't like it. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and hate on Intel, honestly. I feel like it's a good story out today. U.S. Department of Defense is someone you've seen Palantir start, obviously with the defense contracts and what they've led to as well. They used to have that commercial, Intel's Inside or something like that. They're still there, you know, they're still there.
Allegedly.
So I think it's a buy. And I think 2050 maybe on the break long. 2050, or you could take the pre-market out of 2020. I don't mind the stock.
Yeah, I mean, just from a pure setup standpoint, we always talk about liking smiley faces. Well, it's got a sly smile on it recently. And if you look at a 15, it's very, very, there you go. There's your smiley face. I mean, 2010 was sort of the key close price to start the month there, that it did the smiley face up and down underneath. So look, we always beleaguer them and all that kind of good stuff. On Friday was a consolidative day for a lot of stocks. So I think that gave you a bit of a base in case we dip, whether it's 19.8 or 20. I'd like it above 2010. I'd be, instead of buying necessarily a dip, I want it holding above that 2010 from September 3rd. If it can do that, then trending back into the upside actually makes some sense here on Intel. I know it's crazy to say, but hey, it's got the rounded bottom, at least temporarily, and up a couple of points. It doesn't matter what you think of the catalyst. It's what the market decides to do with the price. And if it holds above 2010, I want to be looking longs on Intel.
All right, let's touch on DJT coming back to $18 right now. We bounced off 18 back to 18.25. I mean, if you're with us Friday afternoon, we had this huge monster move up to 2020, or what was it, 21? I guess we're around the high. Trump was speaking in California, said he's not going to sell when this lockup period ends. And that caused that rip all the way up to 21. We come back in, end the day in the aftermarket at 18. Yeah, an apparent new assassination attempt over the weekend in Florida. I mean, there was a bit of a gap up, but that's gone already.
Yeah, it's already retraced back here, Brendo. Here, just obviously, Donald Trump made statements on Friday to the effect that he's not going to sell, but I'm going to give you the details for the lockout period in any event. So if the price stays above $12, and right now it's trading $18.20 on my chart for 20 trading days starting August 22nd, he can sell his shares starting on September 20th. However, if those conditions are not met, the lockout period ends on the 25th, Brendo, of this month.
Yeah, we won't know obviously until after the fact, but remains to be seen what happens until then.
Yeah, and look, on Friday, if you were fortunate enough to get the I'm not selling rip really early, like it was a gorgeous one. It just gave it back almost instantly. It got to $20 and then essentially gave it all up, couldn't even hold the close price. The original halt price, and ends up closing pretty much at $18, and now all of a sudden you got $18 underneath it. It's a squeeze play. I think when we looked it up on Friday, it was a 20% short float. There isn't a lot of available shares out there, obviously, because former President Trump owns like 60% of them himself. So whether or not he sells, that's something that we'll find out down the line. But if people decide to get out in front of it, I think that 18, if it loses 18 today, it probably trends back in to $16. It was surprising to me that it didn't have more juice on a pullback than it did. I thought there'd be a little bit more of a push for some short covering. And I think it needs to take out and hold above $20. You know, like I think that's kind of the thing. If it's not holding above 20, there's not much squeeze potential there, and I'd still be looking for fades unless it gets out and about and starts breaking levels. You can't have shorts running to the hills if there's never any buying above a resistance level, and 20 is the first one, and 20 held like a champion on Friday. So if that never breaks and holds above 20, I'm just not really seeing the explosive long on DJT. I think you're just looking for fade spots again.
Okay, until this name gets to $10, this is all right. Yeah, it's not about character. It's not about integrity or anything like that. You know, when there's money on the line here, I don't like. I wasn't here on Friday about this. Like, I'm not going to sell. I am going to sell, all this kind of stuff. I just, you know, like that's if you're going to get that kind of a bump, halt. You know, all the way to the top, and then people realize that, you know, potentially it's not that exciting, and it comes all the way back down like that. I don't, you know, that's just a dangerous game to be played. Because what if the story comes out and says that, oh, that first opportunity to sell, all of a sudden someone's dumping millions of shares on the market? It's just one of those things where if this happens on that story, I just wonder what happens on the other story. So you just, I guess you got to trust the process. And if you do, and you believe that this has some kind of value for a stock, fine. But it's obviously just a trading avenue here. They did less than $5 million in revenue or something like that the last quarter. And I'll have to look that up, so I'm not sure that's 100% accurate. But there's some number like that. It's not great. This stock is probably heading to sub $10 at some point. But for now, it is a great trading vehicle, and you just wait for stuff like this. Look at it doing nothing, boom. It's like let sleeping dogs lie. When it wakes up, you get over to it. Hopefully there's more stories about this. Hopefully there's more proof or something about the sale or not sale. And you know, at the end of the day, just because, and I don't know if President Trump is like this, or you know, who's in his party that might be able to think like this. But like, okay, so he's not selling stock, but are there puts on this on this thing? You know, there's ways to hedge all of this. So I don't want to get too caught up in this war of words when we're talking about a stock. It's a great trading vehicle. Wait for volume.
Sharif was just saying, Micron just can't stop going down, and we've given back Friday already. I mean, it was a pretty positive day. We end the day at the highs, essentially. It's gone through 88 and then some. I mean, there was a downgrade and a cut in the group, in the memory-related group today. Micron feeling it off of that. I mean, a bit of a choppy week last week, but back to the bottom end of the range here.
So I mentioned this point yesterday, Brendo, from the top that we put in June to where we're currently trading, or we were on Friday. $70 billion has been wiped off the market cap here. Really, the idea is that there is just too much inventory for high bandwidth memory. They've been really producing this, obviously, for the AI chip rollout and the data centers. So Morgan Stanley chiming in today, guys, reiterating Micron coverage with an equal weight and a target of $100. But this is what sent it down. The downgrade to SK Hynix, the South Korean high bandwidth memory manufacturer. They have a relationship with NVIDIA. Morgan downgrading this to underweight. Make sure that you understand that this one trades in South Korea. It's not on the North American market.
Yeah, better part of 4% here, guys, to start here for Micron.
Not looking good. So, like, Micron felt like it wanted to fall off that 91.5 on Friday. It just kind of didn't. Like, you could see, like, there was resistance up top. There's been a nice consolidation at the bottom here, and resistance at 91.5. There was your double downgrade. Was it? Yeah. Oh, Thursday was a double downgrade. And then it wicked the bottom, held 85. And then right after that, it was just a inside start. Like, it started right in the middle of the range, got to the top, and just would not drop on Friday. But I don't think we're going to revisit 91.5 today. That's the obvious area of resistance. I feel like if there is enough juice in the market to somehow get it there, that seems like an easy short. I just got to be thinking short Micron in terms of finding a place to join it. as I said, getting 91.5 seems incredibly unlikely. So if it ends up just trending down, you do have the opening range bottom on Friday, which was right about 89.20 or so. So like pop and fades back into that. I feel pretty bearish on, I mean, the chips, well, I mean, Intel's a different story because it's trying to round a bottom breakout and it's counter to all the other ones. NVIDIA here, there was just a wall of selling at $120. I want to be looking short pops on that too, starting probably at the support of 118.25. So Micron might not be able to get up to that 91.5, but I can still look to short pops in that one back into 88.25. And then a similar thing looking at NVIDIA here. NVIDIA was just unable to go when some of the other chip names were running on Friday. And if that stays the same, I like this 118 to 118.5 for a sell zone on NVIDIA. Down 2 points already, almost for NVIDIA, and then almost 4 for Micron, both looking weak.
Yeah, I think you just keep on the same track here with the NASDAQ going lower, 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 just now down point. Well, it's kind of the same thing, but 0.5. Nice downside move here for Micron. And we talked about this when it broke $100 and how great that trade was just a couple weeks ago. It was actually great twice. I think it might have been actually here we were trading it and not there. But there's that huge break. And we stopped at the same spots, and it was $85. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of the year. So, you know, we mentioned how much of a disaster Intel's been and some of these other chip names. I actually wanted to talk about Micron because it's basically at the zero spot right now and could hold. Bad news, again, into the stock, down 4%. I would say you'd want to play this. And last week I lost trading, I believe, the 85 break because it did drift up into 87 where we looked to short it. So now you're at this 88 mark again. I think we want to short this name. I'd rather just play it with NVIDIA, but Micron, for sure, fading pops. You get an 89 level right there, the 200 period. We like that one, especially the fact that it is pre-market highs. So I'm shorting Micron at pre-market highs. Let's go find out some more about Upstart.
Pre-market lows coming into play here right now. 8.25% on this. 300 million new debt coming through, as you were just mentioning. They're at the point where they're raising new debt to pay off the old debt.
Yeah, it feels like a pyramid scheme, Brenda, or something to that effect. So here's the deal. $300 million to aggregate principal amount of convertible notes that are going to be due in 2029. It's a private offering. The notes will mature October 1st, 2029, unless earlier converted or repurchased or redeemed. But here's the look. Here's what they're going to use for the money for. They're going to pay some of the costs of capped call transactions. Not sure what that is, but this one I do understand. Another portion will be used to repurchase a portion of its outstanding 0.25 convertible notes that are due in 2026. They're taking new loan money to pay off old loan money.
This is another one that had, a decently green week last week, but we're giving all of that back already here in the pre-market.
Yeah, it's like somebody ran this up just for the offering. Upstart, it was weird. It was very strong late last week. Like every day, it just felt like we had lots of people in the chat saying, hey, what's going on with EPST? Look how strong Upstart is, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do we badly want the 50 period again? Down at $33? That's what it seems like. Usually when you have an offering, I've seen this pattern before. Like you can tend to make a bottom in the morning when you have an announcement like this. So I don't know that it gets down 10%, although if it were to go down 10% for some kind of an SSR bounce, that's at 34.20, I want to say. I mean, loose math, like 34.20, like somewhere in there would go SSR, which it's close to a previous key level. So I think that would be a spot to look for some kind of an SSR bounce, maybe even underneath 34. To hold 33.75 or something. So many stocks, I'd rather be short than shorting something at a bottom on the offering. I'd rather look and be patient and wait for a bottoming pattern on Upstart. So if it's an SSR bounce, that's going to have to break 34.20 or even 34 itself to look for some kind of a bounce right in here, like 33.75. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens with this one. If it does make some kind of a bounce play before it gets to 10%, it likely means that I'm not going to be on that one. But I want to I'm going to talk about Tesla for a quick little second. We got some time here. Yeah. Tesla is, it's not down a ton. It's down 0.4. but it's still at the 230 level. And if it's at the 230 level, that means we're still a chance that we get this 235. And 235 was that big double top. Because my head's in the way, I'm going to do that so you can see it. That's that big double top. And you saw what happened when it failed this price the second time. Like, it was a huge pullback. You're talking about a $25 move off of that high. And now we've clawed all the way back in. I feel like this is the breakout that a lot of traders will be excited for. And you pull up the daily chart, and the 35 break is almost even better when you look at the daily chart here. So it's definitely converging higher highs right into, higher lows into that 235 top. We're at 230, which does mean it's going to take something for us to get there. But yeah, Tesla 235, man. That looks exciting to me. Upstart, probably wait for it to go SSR to look for a bounce.
I wrote down Tesla 233. That's going to be on the sticky note. So I think I like to short that as well. UPST, we want to talk about this as well because looky, man, 32% short float. It's getting into a level where if it's going to be supported, you could get a great bounce here. 4.35 days to cover. We talked about that with Mr. Noss as well and how important that is. So, okay, no problemo. Right coming into here, Upstart, nice little pullback into 35. So we're, like I was just saying, into 33, into 33.50. Into 34, good cover areas there for the short, good support, bang, to the upside. I don't think my stream deck is on. Nope, I knew that right before I didn't hit it. There it is, thank you, Sharif. One more time. Oh, there. Okay, and then.
Oh my God.
All right, so I think that's a good opportunity there for Upstart to go to the upside. And then right now, before we get going back over to Sharif to find out what that handsome gentleman's going to be teaching everybody this week during our midday show, we got PSNY sell. These just came out. So NVIDIA with a little bit of a sell. Not big volume, which is what I was going to try to get to. And that is that just 200,000 is the biggest name there. We had not looked at Palantir today, and I had not looked at this on Friday. But wow, nice to see where we are here on PLTR. Nice upside move coming for Palantir. It looks like today, again, breaking through these highs. And it touched 36 there on Friday. We'll see if the good old Palantir keeps trucking along. And I think a 36 break, I didn't even look at this today. But yeah, 5, 6, 7 straight updates for Palantir. Nice move to the upside here. I think it keeps going. So play dips on PLTR.
Yeah, it really.
Anything happened on Friday?
It wicked the 36 level is essentially what happened. So it basically, like, it got to 36.01 and then reversed the move almost all the way back into 35. Okay. Actually, the 35 dip was, it got to 35.03. So essentially went 35.03 to 36.01 and then almost back to 35. The even dollars are fantastic on Palantir. I forgot to.
Typical Palantir.
Usually keep that one on. Let's go to Sharif and find out what they're learning about today. Teaching, I should say.
We finished last week's conversation of trends with reversal days. Now we'll start about all out reversal patterns. That'll be what we cover this week. So join Adair and I on How to Trade at 11 for that.
Hilarious. So we just had the imbalances drop, and nothing crazy as you just mentioned. I saw PSNY there, and the only reason I'm going to bring this up is because every time I've ignored this stock, it's actually done something, but it was trending higher into a potential break, and then it kind of came to the downside in here. I don't wonder if this stock is looking for a reversal, and possibly back to like 140. Like, it just tried to break out this 175 this morning, so if it goes into a reversal, this stock could easily be back at 140 bucks. It was setting up for a 175 break, but with that little move to the downside, and there goes NVIDIA. NVIDIA just took the lows there. Going into the open, it does not look like a good start here for the market. NVIDIA just ran its lows. Tesla just ran the lows. Apple holding on for dear life. I have Apple as just gently breaking that 216.5, coming right back and now retesting it again. So you just got a few names breaking some fresh lows in here. Not looking very good, but it's only 0.5 on the NASDAQ. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. There's some names that are down a couple of points here, but the NASDAQ itself not too bad, and the ES holding up. Financials are doing okay. I think if you're looking for some strength, so far I'm looking at some financials that look pretty good. We're going to be on Apple. Whether we get Tesla or not, I don't think it breaks out that high anytime soon with the way the market's going. Micron want to short pops. It just broke the low of the day as well. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit patient here. If you're looking to short pops, when the market breaks lows right before the open, that can be a signal that you might get sometimes a quick little reversal. We've seen this before. Market at lows, market breaking bottoms at 928, 929, and then you get a bit of an up move that you have to weather the storm if you're looking to short any pops. I think you got to be careful with that as always.
All right, I'm just fixing this candle on NVIDIA so it can make it look a little bit better. We do have some high wicks there, and again, apologies for that. I just put an offer at VWAP here. We'll short NVIDIA a little bit in case that does come in. Just a very, very small position going to be started in NVIDIA at VWAP. Make sure you hit the like and then subscribe, and of course, our bell today being sponsored by Firefly. So make sure you guys check them out. You'll hear more about them throughout the show. So Firefly, thanks. We thank them for sponsoring our opening move here with the bell. So, all right, here we go. It's 15 seconds left. Let's go. We are going to be shorting some NVIDIA just to see if we're right on that one. Tesla possibly as well, as that goes to the downside. With only 5 seconds left, there it is. Firefly, thank you so much. Firefly Neuroscience, revolutionizing brain health. And here we go. The market is open. And yeah. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Now that's been great. Okay, no, 116 trying to go to the downside. We are looking at the TQs as well, possibly trying to short this market. But hands off initially as we're watching NVIDIA. We're watching Apple. Apple just takes 216 now to the downside. So we are at 215 quarters. We said that there could be a flushed out moment here. Looks like it's trying to happen right now for Apple. Down now 3+%. The worst case scenario is here for Apple. It is a bad report on the possible sale of iPhone 12s and demand. So, I mean, this is what we were all waiting for. There's the flush. We miss it by a quarter.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Now all of a sudden, I mean, the ES is about to go green with the NASDAQ breaking those lows. So it is wild. Micron tanked $1 and is right back.
Okay.
So this is what I mean about being patient. Like that's a ridiculous move right off of the open. You're down at 86.2, back to 87.2. Coinbase, just double checking what's going on with Coin. It did a wick of the low of the day and now trying to work back higher as well. Tesla's absolutely tanking. But let me go back. Micron's not going to be that available. That was a pretty big reversal. Tesla now down 227. So that just continues to fall. But we'll see if we get a pop and fade here in one of the chip names, or even Apple back into that 216.5.
Yeah, I'm going to just start a new position. So we go like that. Oh, by the way, I have horrible news for everybody. Our position board's not working. So I don't know. Maybe we can just keep on talking about what's happening. Now we do have a new version that's getting worked on ASAP. I am short now the TQQs. So I apologize for that board not coming out, but you'll be able to see all the trades. I'm not going to trade too many names, but we'll wait. So now we're short against this, against VWAP. So we're short the TQQs right here at 66.20. Average price 66.20 on the NASDAQ right now, going short on the broader market. So that's what I have right here. I do apologize, Ramin and Fabian and everybody.
Teams, they're all over.
Yeah, we'll let us know in our ear. But oh no, Patrick, a company. I don't know what it was like on Friday, but it's a winner right now. As there goes the TQQs. It's 30 cents. It's in the pocket, baby. And there it comes down. Now it's 30, 40 cents here on the NASDAQ. So far, so good here as we're back in the saddle and looking to see what happens. Good little down take there. Neil, we talked about volatility coming through. Let's just see what this NASDAQ wants to do here. Now down 0.7. We short, baby.
Yeah, the Apple just got to 3% downside. So remember 216.5? We got it. But as we said, the position board's not working. Over under at that 216.5. But Apple's finding a nice bid here at the 215 level. They're starting to buy this one back up. Coin's going, you know what? There's a bunch of things starting to go higher. I look over Apple. What the heck, Tesla? Okay, anyways. So I just got out in a bounce in front of Apple in terms of 215. So we take a quick dollar scalp trade. Tesla just broke 225. What the heck is going? Tesla is...
All right, Apple just broke.
Tesla just really flushed.
Yeah, the
Holy
market
crap.
is.
Well,
the
Tesla, that's
market's heading
looking
downside there.
rather nasty.
We tried Apple there at 215 when we have to say fail because it didn't work. There goes the breakdown. But guess what is working, man? It's the Nasdaq is just spinning right now to the downside, and we have this trade. So we did try the Apple trade. I can't just be like, oh my God, we have one winner, no losers, because our board is not working. There's the Apple trade at 215. There's the dropout on Apple. So big move to the downside on AAPL. We do sit here now and wait to see what the story is with Kablamo right now as the money coming in on the futures short. I mean, I guess we should have just done that and left Apple alone. But right now, Neil, looks like we're the right way here on the futures as that is really collapsing right now. The NASDAQ giving a whole bunch back, man. Apple down to 214 right now. I don't know if you're into anything else, but NVIDIA right now. Actually, NVIDIA's okay.
Everything is bleeding. One of the only things that's not bleeding right now is actually Intel. Intel's holding up 1.5%. Well, Apple just broke 214. Coinbase, which I was looking to short pops into, holding the low of the day, but it just dropped a couple of dollars. Tesla's on the comeback trail. I feel like Tesla is making at least a little bit of a comeback. And Daniel in the chat rightly pointing out Oracle, which on Friday, Oracle was a dump all morning. Oracle breaking this sucker out right now as the market goes lower and lower. Oracle decides it wants to break it out. I'm a little skeptical of that move, but going to let things settle down a bit. I'm out of the Apple short and looking for some re-engagement. I mean, NVIDIA's about to break 115. I wasn't really thinking break down trades at this point. I was looking short pops.
Wow.
So if we're trying to short pops, we got to be at least a little patient. But Oracle, power move to the upside. So not everything is tanking here.
Yeah, you mean it's, I was going to say it's about being diversified, but of course, Oracle, big tech.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit strange. Man, oh man, good trade there on Apple over there with that short. Monster trade here with the TQs as well as the futures just continue to fly down. This is over 100 handles now in the money for this. But guess what's happening right now? Apple, 214. We're going to give it one more chance.
We're going to celebrate.
We're going to celebrate something. We're not celebrating anything right now, but one more time is the name, and there goes Apple. We are long right now at 34s. We just take a piece out there at 65s or something with a nice pop-up. That was really strange. We just kind of got a price we didn't think we'd get there. Apple, so long right now, 214.34. Offers at 214.80s, and then up to hopefully VWAP. But right now, Apple's spitting out of control to the downside as we talk about that with the world famous TK Securities talking about a shipment problem or demand problem for the iPhone 16 Adara.
Lots of volume here for Zentalis Pharmaceuticals, ZNTL, right off the open here, making new day's highs up 65%. Earlier today announcing that the FDA lifted partial clinical holds on some of its studies and says that it does remain on track to meet previously disclosed data guidance for 2024. Worth noting as well, over a 17% short float for ZNTL, guys.
ZNTL, okay.
ZNTL, so new position for me, and it's going to be Alphabet. Alphabet just went right into the afternoon support on Friday, I should say, not yesterday, 156.5. So got a bit of a dip buy in here. Still looking, give me a break, Tesla. If anybody in Tesla's fallen like a rock. It just made another low there. It's about to take 222 any second now.
Really?
But into Alphabet here. Going to give it to that 156 half. Want to be patient with this. Got to find something. I don't want to short bottoms. That's the problem with this move. So the only new position just now, I'm out of Apple. We're into Alphabet. But it's Tesla that is certainly ripping faces off to the downside. And just to zoom it out for you guys, it's at the 50 period on the daily as we speak. This wick in here is 223.80. I mean, if it loses this 223.8 again, you could easily see a 220 point in here. That was a decent support level before on Tesla. Taking it on the chin this morning. Nasty move for Tesla early, but I want to see if Google can make that bounce off their afternoon support. Only down half a point, so half of what the NASDAQ is down, Alphabet is.
Yeah, I feel like this market could be turning just in a minute here. So let's,
trying.
We are now we're out of about 75% of our NASDAQ trade. And we don't have very many good, we have some great fills, but we don't have the best fills. We don't have the 65.40 down here. But you know what we did? We got reloaded, and you got to stay sometimes with what you're trying to do. There's Apple. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Apple right back into it. So we'll say shout out to all of our Canadian friends. There it goes now. There's 70 more cents on Apple, back up to the upside right there as it's starting to go. We're long at 214.25. It's almost $1 right now. Nice upside trade here for, okay, I'm going to get these out. We're really starting to go. Yes. Good trade there on Apple. Let's get another piece out here on the futures. I mean, we're still well in the money on this one as Apple continues to climb up. So that's $1 right there on Apple. We just took that out at 215.15 or so. 215.16 there. 98 cents on Apple. Nice move to the upside again. Our position board, I apologize, not working right now, but short the TQQs. We just covered a little bit on that blast up there. Maybe a little incorrectly, but I wanted to cover both at the same time. I wanted to cover Apple at highs and then the futures at that same time because one's short, one's long. So no matter what there, it should be like take advantage of one pop, and if it continues, great. If not, that's fine. So nice little trade there on the TQs and on Apple. So we'll still be down on Apple, waiting. We're still holding this position. Let's see if we can get back up to the upside now as the futures. Have they found a bottom? I mean,
they're trying, but
it's 940.
It's still looking pretty heavy. I was able to get, Google moved into 157 even there. So it bounced off 60s, not quite the halves. I was able to get in at 74, just took some out in front of the evens for the first quarter. You're still trying to bounce in the overall market, but if you look at what's going on with said NASDAQ, I do wonder, like here, 19.4, that's the kind of level that can turn into a resistance on the way, like support from Friday could turn into resistance. Oh, Intel just broke. So Intel, which was not nearly as weak. Okay, well, never mind. I mean, it was actually up all morning. So now 3% to the upside. It just broke local highs on Intel here at 2020. I've got 2021s and I want to give it to 10s. With the market down, for its own reasons, it's up. There was, grant money, yada, yada, but that's nothing new for Intel. And they are presenting later this month their turnaround plan. So Mr. Gelsinger's got a lot on his mind there. But Intel up 3%. I just took this one breaking 2020 as it's trying to buck the trend of everything going down early here. If it gets to the pre-market top here in the 30s, it's going to start taking some out. So long Google, long Intel, and still looking to short some pops if I can in Micron or NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA did get to VWAP there as I was getting
trying
into
to give
Intel.
us those pops.
Yeah, Micron came right to the pre-market lows, and I feel like that was the one that I should have had Micron in here. But both Micron and NVIDIA did pull back, and they gave you entries. Maybe just a little bit too patient there. We'll see if we can get back in, or into for the first time, I should say.
Trust me when I tell you guys, yeah, we are working on the position board. I know how important it is for you guys, but there's another one, a little bit of a money dropper here. Apple out again at 215. So we're long at 214.20. All I could do is try to give you as many, and Neil's doing his best as well, give you guys the prices that we're in on. So the TQs, I'm short. Only trade I'm in right now, that's been a short. We have about 20% left on that one. And then Apple, we have the same 20% left on the long side. So we will keep you guys posted. We do have our tech team working on that. We had an upgrade on the software, and it just didn't click with our sort of our board there. So apologies. And I honestly feel bad, like horrible about it, and wish we had sort of. It's nothing. I mean, I think we learn every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we had this version for many weeks, and we could have upgraded it, and we didn't, and so it's our fault, and we apologize for that. So I do want to say to everybody, we are working on it, baby. As it comes through. So I'm with you there. I do want to short a little bit of NVIDIA. I wrote down NVIDIA 120 short sell, but I always like to think about VWAP, and I know Neil mentioned that. So if we get a little bit of a bump up on NVIDIA, I guess I could cancel my 119.50 and my 118, but we'll wait at 115.70. So we're coming up right now. It's not quite going like parabolic yet, as we know NVIDIA can do. So we'll wait for that, and if it happens, we'll get out of the way, man. I mean, there's VWAP, and there's the 50 period at 50. So I kind of like where that 50 period is sitting, gives me a little bit of a pause and where to get out, and that kind of makes sense right at the bottom of the day as well for the pre-market. So 116.50, there it is, man. You can't see on the board, but you could just see we just took a 70 fill there on NVIDIA. How many shares? Decent amount. Let's put a bid out here at 50 if we can take that. 25 cents for our first piece, and then we wait for more, right? I mean, we're trying shorts today. And thank you to Mr. Westermeyer and everybody out there that said about the horse sense right here about going short. I mean, yeah, the futures were a big short, and we took advantage of that one, and then we lost on our Apple idea of sitting there bidding that 215, but we didn't lose that much, man. That just dropped in there once it broke. I think we got out like 80s or something, so not a great out for us, but here we go. We're in NVIDIA short with a 116.50 exit spot. So just so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, the only update for me is a new position in Micron at VWAP here. So Micron down 4.5%. They got the double downgrade last week, but if it breaks out 87.5, I'm jumping out of it. Alphabet's really starting to go here. So Alphabet's through VWAP. It's trying to take 157.5. That was pre-market resistance. If we lose that level, I'm going to look for re-entries possibly at VWAP or 157 even on Alphabet. But going to take some profit on this one as it's trying to make that dollar move here. Adara, what do you have for us?
Bit of a lighter volume move here, under 1 million shares as of right now, but CMG on watch. Chipotle, nice move up here, currently up about 2% right now on the day, near day's highs, debuting its avocado, which is this collaborative robot being used to mix an avocado. This was initially used in a test kitchen, now being debuted in some California restaurants. So potential robotics news here coming out of Chipotle with that debut, guys. CMG.
$58 level. I mean, it had a nice bottom at 53 there. We'll look at that in a minute. I'm just trying to watch out for Apple here because we do have $1 plus. I know Neil's looking at that Google as well. This, it's just, I wonder, like, we just got a great fill there. Oh yeah, we talked about that at 30. Okay, so we just grabbed that fill there on NVIDIA short. Sorry, I was looking at Apple on the wrong chart. This is what we're just debating right here on VWAP. So 215.50 for Apple. A nice little VWAP retracement play back upside there. We have $1. We're long right here, literally at that dollar. So I am going to put an offer. I got to go deal with that NVIDIA. 215.50 or so for Apple. Let's just put an offer there. If it comes in, it comes in. If it comes in, it won't be necessarily great. We do have NVIDIA short. Our average price is 16 flat right now. So we're going to risk 50 cents. But this name is going, right? They got flushed out a little bit early. We're short at 116 flat, remember. So let's see if it can let's see if it can push back down in. We'll take some outs here at 116 just to ease back a little bit as the market wants to keep climbing. You don't want to be short this name if the market's going to do this, but maybe the market potentially heads backside. But I mean, you're not at VWAP. You're not even at the 50 period. This market could run just a little bit more. We're short the Qs and we're short NVIDIA right now in long Apple. So it's kind of a little bit of a dangerous thing. But our Apple concoction is down here at 214, so that's okay. 10% left only of, actually way less than that, of Apple now as we just got that fill. And it's NVIDIA, Neil, that's singing that tune that we like right now with a nice little downside push here for NVIDIA. So we just got some fills there in the 90s, so a good little look there. Let's see if NVIDIA will fall back in. Was not expecting that.
Yeah, definitely not expecting some of the strength to come back as quickly as it did in the market, but you're starting to get a bit of a roll. I'm going to put you know what? No, I'm not going to put the trail on. Sellers at 157.5 on Alphabet. That's the third time that this has happened. It's gotten to 157.5. On a 3-minute chart, you can't really tell it, but trust me, it's gotten up there 3 times, and each time there was sellers at 157.5. So I'm out of the stock. But I got some concerns with Micron. So Google, that works to the long side. Apple worked to the short side. But Alphabet here, Micron here, I should say, that looks like it's trying to break it out. So I'm short 87.17. And this consolidation here is trying to break the $0.50. I feel like if it takes out that half, while the market is trying to go back down, just trail down Alphabet there, the long, this is trying to go up here on Micron. So do have to have some concern over that. Don't like it when the stock is going counter trend to the market. If I like the shorts today, I want to find something which is not breaking back higher in here. I might look for refills in Google. Tesla is starting to go as well. So the market's trying to catch a bid. Don't want to get trapped at the bottom. Out of this thing if it breaks 87.5. But Google, that one, I think if it dips right back into 156.5, I'm just going to reload it at the same price that we bought before. It's just Friday afternoon support levels at 156.5. Looks like we're coming in for a bit of a retest here.
Yeah, this market wants to scream a little bit higher. We did go, what's up, Urso, there in the chat? He's like, this guy's a crazy guy shorting NVIDIA. No, I know that. That's why we just covered a bunch. Like, we went into the 60s and 70s there to the downside. We're short at 116.25 right now. We were short at 116 flat. So remember, it's basically a flat trade. If you have this trade with me right now, we did cover some, put a little bit of money there, but right now NVIDIA is basically a flat trade. So you are Urso and company right about that one. So I mean, we'll just wait to to see what winds up happening. I mean, we just went short again there. We'll take some more out on the bid if it comes in, but I'm just trying to go like 1-to-1 for a little bit here. We're getting out at 116.50. So our short is 116.25. And again, I apologize, and I know this is the first time in a long time that we haven't had the position board working for this much time. So all I can tell you is it's not going to be working on more Trader TV. I don't believe either. So, all right. Yeah, so everything right now. Okay, so you're just going to have to sort of take our word for it on the chart, and I know it's a little bit harder. Here it comes. If it breaks, we're gone. So there you go, Urso. All right, well, we got out there. I don't know if it broke or not, but it just triggered me out as if it broke. So I'm going to go one more short in case that didn't break, but there it is. You are 100% right. We got stopped out on that trade there. I'm going to check the trade log, but we're back short just a little bit. There it is. There's the official break. So now we're going to be out of NVIDIA right there. So yeah, good job there. We tried the short against VWAP, did not work. Against the 50 period. First starting VWAP, then the 50 period. Strong days ahead for this name. It looks like NVIDIA for now as the market shakes it off. And just like Taylor Swift, let's shake it off to the upside, says Apple right now, up to 260. This is $1.70 in the money now for Apple. But we lost on that NVIDIA trade. So big time trading on the TQs as that's come right back up as well. The market really resilient today.
It's very resilient.
You know, right about the short early, wrong late, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm close to stop. The only thing I'm in right now is we got out of Google. Obviously, I got out of the Apple short a while ago, unfortunately. But yeah, all of a sudden, Micron, it hasn't broken yet. That's all I'll tell you. Like, it has not broken the consolidation. It feels like it wants to go, however. So once it breaks the 60s, I'm out. Still in the trade. It's the only position I have on. Oracle, every time I look at it, like, you're kidding me. Somewhere Obi is like, what the heck, Oracle? It's insane. If Oracle gets to the 170s, I've got to be thinking fate. The way that they dumped this thing at 173 on Friday, if it gets up there, it's hard for me not to be looking short. Thank you very much, Devian Wade, for the super chat. WHLR is popping to the upside. I mean, I'm looking at Oracle, which is popping as well. And if the way the market's going up, if you're looking for popping fades, I think you got to be very patient. Yeah, there he is. I don't know if he's looking at Oracle, but my guess is he might be.
Friday?
Oracle was, because Oracle had they updated their guidance. It was actually strong, and it went to the upside, looking like it was one trying to break out. It failed a break of the post-market highs and was the biggest, nastiest reversal of the day. And now it's doing it in the other direction. So WHLR here has not taken out the top, but that looks good. 750 on Friday-ish, 740 today. Bit of a double top action here on WHLR. Don't know necessarily the story on it. It's done 1.6 million shares. The only thing I'm in right now is Micron still. Come on, get down, Micron. It just cannot seem to break underneath VWAP. I'm gonna get some. This is actually pretty strong. I'm gonna get some out in front of VWAP here because that's what the stock is telling me to do. I just don't love the relative strength, so don't need to be bidding at 86.8. If I'm going to take some out almost flat, going to look for 86.5. If it does break down, we want to see if we can capture some of that. So still just in Micron as the market is making a rebound as we speak. Thankfully, that pulling back into VWAP for me just a little bit.
Yeah, we're all right. Right now, just quickly, we are back into shorting the market right now with the TQQs. So let's just wait to see. You're up to the 200 period on the daily, on the 1 minute chart is something that I don't mind, and we're just shorting it again right now. We've just added to this position. We've already taken it out, so we're just kind of putting it back on now. I'm thinking about 66.60 as an area where let's be wrong if we're going to be wrong on that stock up into there. So let's give this a little bit of room. NVIDIA back into the short. What's up, Adara?
Mike?
Tired of being late to the trade, always playing catch up in the market, missing out on big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial. Also worth noting here, we have some range-bound movement to the upside for XCUR. This is Exacquire or Execure. This company here has a market cap of about $2.7 million, so pretty small market cap, 951,000 share float, so below 1 million shares, and 7.5% of that is going to be sold short. Entering here into this debt for equity exchange agreement, so this sending XCUR to the upside, guys.
XCUR to the upside.
Excuse me.
As the market goes higher, the first pullback in Oracle happens. So that's just holding counter trend. When the market was going down, Oracle was going up. Now that the market's starting to pull back up, Oracle makes its first pullback. So like I said, I took some out of Micron when it looked like it was holding VWAP. Probably a good decision because it's right back bouncing off VWAP. This is now looking a little bit trappish. Like you got the little bull flag, ignore what's going on in the pre-market. It's a dip and then a bit of a rip. If this takes out 87.5, I think we made the right decision to get some out. Checking back in on Tesla, which kind of came out of nowhere with the way that it dropped. It's starting to sell a bit again on Tesla here, losing VWAP. So I want to keep an eye on this at VWAP. It wasn't necessarily the plan to trade it anywhere but 235, but it's certainly the biggest move off the open that I saw. So it definitely should be on our radar. If it holds on to VWAP and breaks out up, I think it's got some obvious room to set upside. But strong, strong move here all the way back up on the futures. That's going to lead me back over to AAPL because 216.5 load. 216.5 was that over-under price. It broke down immediately to give that initial trade. If it gets back above 216.5, that could really explode. Feels like a little bit of a liquidity grab could have just happened underneath support levels. Oh, there was something one name we forgot to look at here, still just in the one position for me, but it was Upstart. Yeah, so Upstart broke down. And it did go SSR, and it just made a bounce off 33 even all the way into VWAP. If it retests that low, I think that can be the bounce spot. So Upstart did go 10% to the downside. I was looking at other stocks at the time, mainly Micron and Google. But yeah, looking pretty weak is Upstart. Might have made its bottom here at 33. It is short sell restricted. Needs an uptick to hit the bid to go short.
All right. All right, so let's just go over what we're doing. I mean, it's tough because I know the position board is not working. We're $2 now in the money on Apple, but we're getting lighter on that. That's just up to the 50-period moving average. We still have that same 10% left on Apple. Again, I said maybe less than 10%, but we had 3 fills down here. It's like a typical 10% here for me. We'll see if it does continue to work out. NVIDIA's just been back and forth here. I mean, I'm not super happy with this stock, but it's at the 50-period moving average. We won and then we lost, so pretty flat on NVIDIA today. We just taking some more out here as we keep on bouncing off that 116. I want to wait till this 200 period, which is 117.30. So hopefully we get some more fills up at 117 if it does come up there. We've just been getting lighter on it because look at the futures, man. I mean, giddy up. Man, we were right early, but then now they want to come back to the upside. So I'm fine with that. Remember, we do have the Fed rate coming on Wednesday. So we'll wait to hear if there's anything sort of, I don't think we're waiting for like a whisper. It's already about 60 points, 60% chance here that we have a 50% cut, leaving 40 on the table for that quarter, right? So it'll just play out the way it plays out, and we're going to be here for you early tomorrow, I guess, in and around 1:45 for that announcement. Wednesday, yeah, on that date. So that'd be important. All right, so just as the futures keep going upside right now. Wow. Okay, did we just get a number or something? The market just like extreme poppage right there.
Technical break maybe?
So we'll be flat now on the TQs. We just gave that short back on that break. NVIDIA shares popping. We're not averaged in, so we are averaged in, but our average price is 116.75. We did real good, man. We waited for this pop-up. So let's now wait to see what winds up happening here. Market really on one to the upside right now. We're still fine. It's just we did get stopped out of our TQs there on that break of the 50 period, of the 200 period. Nice move up, man. I was not expecting this turnaround here in the market today, but it happened and we're dealing with it. There we go. Short the Qs again. Good trade. We only got out to 75%.
Yeah, so on that spike, I got taken out there on Micron. Micron finally broke that resistance level, so out of Micron, and it's right back underneath. So might have just gotten wicked out, but I'm going to be a bit patient. That was a spike across the board in the market. Everything I looked at caught the same technical break right into those previous highs. So I want to see it hold underneath that price before we jump back in. I can tell you Intel, first trade good, second trade not, flat on it, but I want to get back on the dip here. Intel's still going higher. It's at 3.5%. Check that, 3.8. It was up 4% at one point. If it pulls back into pre-market, or just call it overnight highs, 2030, or into VWAP at 2010, still like both of those if we can get them. This has been trend up the entire way. The other thing that's been trend up the entire way is Oracle. It's trying to find its way back into VWAP for a potential test. So I'm out of Micron. No more Micron short for me, unfortunately. We slapped the L on that. But I want to get back over to Intel. Stock that we liked long is breaking out. So looking to buy dips here. Whether we get VWAP or not seems unlikely. Should have held maybe to 20. Didn't on the reload. We'll look to see if we get 2030. Just want to take the stairs to the upside on this. You've got higher lows trending up, and the market's starting to join the party as well. So Intel seems like it's found a little bit of a bottom. Oscar Plays just said Palantir 36 short. Palantir can't be at 36. Well, Palantir is at 36.
Yeah, man, Palantir.
Despite the market move down, Palantir is breaking out this 36 level. You know, don't make assumptions. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me, or I think that's the line.
The greatest stock of all time.
No, and the assumption was when the market dumped, Palantir wouldn't be breaking 36. Well, it is. But it tested above this 3 times, and 36.10 is now the local high. So the breakout would not be here. It's already happened on Palantir. I still feel like I like Intel better. So I'm going to stick with that one. But Palantir looking actually very good to the upside, despite what the market seems to be doing.
Yeah, we should probably head over there to Palantir and have a quick look. I just want to remind everybody that we apologize because the position board is not working. We are well aware of that and wishing for speedy recovery to our position board. All jokes aside, it's just we had a software upgrade and just didn't work out the way we thought it would. So, all right, TQQ downside push right there. We are starting to get filled on that. We are still short NVIDIA at 117 right there. We waited for it. We got that fill. We got a great fill down there at 116.15 as well. It was an averaged out price. So right now our average price is 93, but we've been taking hits on NVIDIA. We're not going to be up on it, and especially if it takes out that high right there of 117.50. That's our stopping spot for NVIDIA. And wow, this market wants to keep on climbing higher. I think it was Urso or somebody there in the chat that was like NVIDIA's climbing, and so far you've been 100% right. The market really taking off upside now. Let's go over and see what Adair is up to.
It's some pre-market weakness. We do have a push higher here for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ to start the first half an hour of this week. Key this week will be the FOMC meeting and rate decision on September 18th. We're going to get the decision coming through on Wednesday at 2 p.m. and then press conference here with Fed Chair Powell at 2:30 p.m. No major economic data on watch today. We did get a higher than expected New York Fed manufacturing index print at 8:30 a.m., but that's the only print on watch for today. Some companies, though, to keep an eye on include Intel. This one basically at high of days here with some reports from Bloomberg suggesting that this company may have qualified for $3.5 billion or up to $3.5 billion in funding for some of those U.S. military chips. So INTC on watch with some potential funding coming in here. We have Upstart, definitely off its lows, but still down about 10% here, announcing intentions to offer $300 million of senior convertible notes. So interesting look here for UPST. Last but not least, Micron on watch has been kind of chopping and turning here, still at about 4% after hitting new 2-week highs there on Friday. Potential sympathy with SK Hynix after Morgan Stanley double downgraded that name with regard to some DRAM concerns. We know Micron had a double downgrade over similar concerns last week, guys.
Double downgrade.
Double downgrade. But that just means like, whatever. Sometimes you're playing catch up. Remember, Micron was down like 60% off of its highs. So sometimes they play a little bit of catch up and they're just late. So big move down, they do a double downgrade because they hadn't been doing their diligence. But Intel, now it just broke another high, as Adair mentioned.
This market is.
So like this one's flying, and it is what it is. I know we beat up on that stock all the time, but right now it's one of the stronger ones out there. I don't know if we're going to see VWAP. I'm just going to cancel the VWAP bid. If it gets down there, probably still like it at VWAP, but I got to start concerning myself with the aftermarket or the overnight highs. If it pulls back into the 30s, I think that's going to be the more likely spot. Micron still hasn't retaken where I got stopped out, the 87.5. So it's still underneath there and looking relatively valid that you can have resistance to that same price. So I think I got wicked out, obviously. If we come back in, fail that same high, I just jump back into the short. So that's the only short that we put on outside of the early one on Apple, but it was an L. Apple's starting to look really, really strong. There was just a big pullback off of 216, and then immediately it's back above that 215 hold and back above trying to break out this 216. It feels like if Apple breaks out 216, it's pretty much gone. But you can see the wall of selling happening at the 16. There is no size on the offer here. Like, I'm looking at it, there's nothing there. It's probably just a bit of a refresher. That gets taken out. I think this is probably going to fly, but it's resistance till it ain't. I came in looking shorts on Apple, so I'm going to short it in front of 216 even. If it breaks, you know what? And then Micron, we're also going to reshort that one through VWAP because they just wicked us out. Just going to jump right back in where we had it before.
Okay, in your hallelujah moment of the day right here, hallelujah. The TQs just fell in, and look at that price that we got. Oh my. We just got 66.15s or something there on a downside push there. We were getting close to being in a problem spot there as this market was coming back to the upside quite nicely. And then we just got that flush into the 200, but it was bought up immediately. So that's a warning spot for sure for all of these trades. So I'm starting to get weaker now. We've been short. I mean, NVIDIA's almost out. Here it goes right now. It's going meme crazy to the upside. Like, it just went down and we were able to get some out in the 20s. Our average price is 15s, but we will take a hit here again. I don't know why I'm even short this. There it goes. Did it break? Yeah. Like, we wrote down 120s for NVIDIA. So it looks like right now it's just going to come right back up to the upside. We're still in that Apple long, but we have to hit a fail on the short again for NVIDIA. I mean, we just stop doing it. That's all. Apple with the long, we're still in this one trying to go, but it's NVIDIA that's taking off. We stamped a buy on Intel earlier, as you guys know as well, talking about that. Shout out to Shakib and everything, saying that I think Intel's a buy today and hold, for quite a while, potentially on that one. So I do like Intel. Micron, I know Neil's been on that, and it's been a little bit choppy. We do apologize about the position board. I still really want to short NVIDIA, but really off to the races now, only down 1.15%. NVIDIA going upside right now. Yeah, Intel's looking
It might want 21 today.
All right, let's see what Adair's up to.
Carvana, speaking of meme crazy, this one really strong this morning, up about 6%, near day's highs with increasing volume here. We have Evercore ISI maintaining an inline rating, but raising its price target for Carvana from 142 to 157. CVNA also has about a 6.7% short float, getting lots of social media attention this morning. This one don't watch, guys.
New highs. Oh. Yeah, NVIDIA making new highs. We're hearing that in our ear. Apple's pulling back while NVIDIA's making these highs. It's giving me a pause again about this short. I'm going to take more now on the futures. Futures have been good, man. We had that short. We talked about getting stopped out there. We had it back. We just got a great fill there. Still waiting to see about taking out this pre-market high sort of here on the TQQs, which would be, the pre-market high is all the way up here, but I'm kind of just talking about since we sort of dumped from in and around here, 66.80 or so, maybe even up to 67. For the TQQs. I feel like you got to give it a little bit of room. Been wrong going short, so we'll wait, man. The market, I feel like, is good. We had the move down. Now we have this move consolidating right into here. Let's see if we break 19,700. If it does that, then good on you. Still $1.70 on this one. And still watching out, man. Is NVIDIA's top 118? I don't know. I don't think I'm willing to sit here and predict anything right now. We've lost on NVIDIA today, so we're going to give it a little bit of a break, but 118 looks like it doesn't want to hold either, man. It's just straight up, man. Every drip is a buy. So we did good covering some of this, but at the end of the day, we'll be red on NVDA. Yeah, Palantir and Oracle. Those are both names that I own, but both names.
Palantir really shot. So, look, obviously, I'm not back into Micron, but Micron broke back out again when the chips went. The NASDAQ's about to go and take 19.4 or 19.46, which is a local high. I feel like Apple, while it's been scalpable in this range, if it takes out this 216, I'm short here mid-80 at 85. If it breaks that out, I'm just going to get out. I think the initial short was the way to go. Now you're kind of bull flagging it to the upside. Intel's doing a dip right now, but I wanted to make sure that we covered Oracle because I thought Oracle might dip into VWAP. Silly me, tricks for kids. Oracle's going to break 170 any second now. So I thought joining the trend would be getting it maybe back at VWAP. Instead, Oracle has other plans, and they do not involve me getting into that party. The dip on Intel is the biggest one that I've seen so far, as it's coming right back in to that previous breakout price at 220.30. So looking for some kind of a consolidation. Don't want to get in on the front end. We got a breakout trade that worked, and then a dip buy where I got in on the front end, it ran the stop, and then immediately went higher. I'd rather see it wick other people out than jump in to the reversal here as Intel's trying to pull back for the first time. So just in Apple, short in front of 216, but you got VWAP in here that's holding at the half this entire way. Like, look at it hold. You got halfway, and then you've got and then you have 215 even on Apple. So if that's the range, I want to make sure that I'm covering inside of this range here on AAPL. It's this wick that's skewing the chart a little bit here. I can zoom in, you can see a little bit better. You got 216 up top, you got VWAP at 215 half, and then you have support at 215 even on Apple, which makes it clear what the range is. I'm hoping it stays range bound, because if it breaks out the top, then I'm getting out of this, out of Dodge. So we're just gonna ring the register here, halfway to VWAP on Apple, only about 27, 28 cents in there, but this is trending higher now. Like everything else, it seems like it's trending higher into a flat top break. Resistance, at least for now, on Apple at 216.
All right. Yeah, Intel's pulling back. So is NVIDIA now bouncing off that 118. The only positions, I thought it was working, but it was the Bitcoin at the bottom changing colors there. Okay. We're short 66.57. We talked about going short right here. We said that we were going to leave NVIDIA alone. Maybe we should get out of some Apple as it's trying to break lower. If Apple breaks this 115, 215, sorry. Let's just get out of Apple at 215. We're long down here at 214. So I'm going to cancel that. This trade is 214.20. My stop I just canceled was 20 cents lower. So we'll go 5-1. If this breaks 214.99, let's get out. We do have that 10% left. We're going to get out of that one. But right now we are bleeding lower here, which I like. I like a lot right now in the futures. Let's see if it wants to pull back a little bit. We talked about it getting a little overheated into the open range there. So we'll bid 35s now as we just shorted up here, 66.60. So we kind of shorted this 19.7 area. So did we just get filled at? Oh, no, we did not. We're at 35s. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, did we get it? I think we just got it. Okay, so we just got it there. So nice fill. Okay, of course, as it goes lower. We are still waiting for something in the 20s as well. As here we go. Nice push back down in, man, making our net just a little more comfortable than we were before. There's the futures. Only trade I have on right now is Apple and this TQQ trade. So again, made money early, gave it back in flat. Had a huge, not a huge trade, but a huge print down there because we only got out of like 10 or 15%. And now we'll wait to see if we fade back into the 50 here on the NASDAQ 100. So good movement there, 58 on Bitcoin. I feel like we could look at Coinbase. Again? Is it? Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, what is Coinbase doing? So Coinbase 156 up to 160. Still down a little bit. I was going to say, where's the data? Yeah, 162 and change. Not super ready to do anything yet with Coinbase, I feel like. So let's wait on that one. See if we can't find some better opportunities. I want to stay away from all the big cap names because I'm already short the market. But
the market's trying to break it.
We talked about Upstart ripping today.
So there goes. Just as soon as we got the $0.50, Apple broke out the top. Look at the candle on it. This is a 3-minute candle. Okay. But look at that move. Like it was grinding lower, put in that lower high, and then just broke 216. So I'm out of it, and I'm not even in. I'm no positions right now. Apple was the only thing that I was in at that moment.
That is nuts.
But that was a big volume spike just there. That's why you use stop orders, everybody, because if you try to manually put an order through to get 216s there, you're probably getting 30s or something like that. Thankfully, ours worked as they're supposed to. Intel, there we go. Intel just made a bit of a higher low here again. So I'm trying to get it in on the other side, which would be let it bounce and then try to get the bounce play. I'm sitting at 35s, like to give that into 30. But that was a big, hefty move to the upside on Apple. I'm just going to double check to see what NVIDIA is doing here while I'm on the bit of Intel. I'm no longer in position. Yeah, it's not really. Not this. What's going on with this chart?
Bad things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, NVIDIA, I mean, I have it here. NVIDIA's not doing anything, guys. It's at 117.50. It's trying to go back and forth from 118. It's too bad. Like, our last draw on that was 117.50, so kind of glad about that one. We're still now, we're almost $3 in the money there on Apple. Like, I don't know what that spike was about, but yeah, huge move back up to the upside. As someone in the chat said that Sean was going to poo-poo that Apple story. Well, we're long now, Apple, and it's a good one. $2.50. now in the money on Apple. And we just got reloaded again. It's too bad. I do apologize, everybody. I know we sound like a broken record or a raspy record, but at the same time, man, our position board is not working. So all I can tell you is the trades that I'm in the NASDAQ 100, which is this short right here. Just trying to play off 19.7. We talked about that sort of move that we've just had, trying to barcode, but just bounced off VWAP. So I'm not super happy about that one either. But we'll short the NASDAQ 100 now with the tool, the triple Qs, and again, triple levered. So I just prefer that. Just the pricing and everything. I mean, it has nothing to do with the leverage because I'm trading numbers here, right? So it doesn't really matter. And I prefer, to trade the Qs is just so much more expensive and so much more difficult to find your key levels, because if you're going to have a 40-cent stop or something on the triple Qs, you're going to get stopped out of that almost pronto. And again, it's just the same type of thing. Just trade what you feel comfortable with. Right now, we're short on that one. Apple just continues, man. There goes Apple. Let's go. Let's do a little face slapper there for that one. Hard to imagine that we lost early on 215 long, but as we wrote down on here, 215 was a spot, and I said, watch out for 214 break, like as if we're long right now, 214.20. To have predicted to hold all that is so tough. Like when we went back to 215, that's when we basically cleaned out of all of it, but there goes the futures, man. If we didn't have Apple, then we would be red on everything. But the TQs is a flat stock, and Nvidia is red.
Yeah, for me, Micron's the red one. But you know what? Looked over and Nvidia wasn't doing much. AMD's going. So like this is just broken out that 153, the wall from Friday. Now Nvidia is breaking the high of the day, but AMD broke it $1 ago and looks like the stronger one, at least to the upside. I still haven't gotten the dip buy in Intel. I am on the bid, trying to catch the mid 30s there, but have not gotten filled. So still looking to join that one. But look at AMD go. Feel like if this is the one going and the market's going to go green, then play the stronger one. I know a lot of times this is what happened on Friday, where I was staring down Nvidia, looking for the Nvidia trade, and it was ARM that was going. So you can stare down Nvidia all you want, but if we take out these highs, it's AMD that's already gone. So I want to be able to join the strongest name. It's trying to pull back off some higher lows. We'll see if we can catch a bit of a fill there. As you mentioned, 58,000 on Coinbase. I'm like, again, all we keep doing is going 58, 58 over and over again. But you do have coin over 160. That was the over-under for me. So no short for me in Coinbase now that it's over $160. That's absolutely flying to set upside. Where's Intel? Not really giving me any fills yet. So I'll let you guys know if I get into Intel, but I'm also looking at AMD here. Just moving away from NVIDIA the way that AMD is going. I feel like that is going to be the stronger of the pair as we're now just waiting for a little bit of a dip buy coming in here in AMD. Got the higher lows, I think 153.5, where pre-market broke out is going to be it. So sorry about the position board, everybody, but I'm just on the bid Intel and looking for a dip in AMD for it to tell me where to get in.
Okay, just real quickly here. Yeah, Ponzi sent me a message. I'll have to deal with that after. Okay, so, oh yeah. It's $3 in the money now for Apple, as that one is just like, okay. And again, we just retweeted it out. We put that out for you guys as well one more time. And that was the fact that the sticky note today for Apple was buy the dips into, and again, like we just should be up more than this. It's just all that it is, man. Buy the dips into 214. Watch for break above 219 if we can get that. That would be nice. But there it is right there, 214 support, 215 long. We lost early on the 215 long, so we slapped a fail on that one, only to get back into it and watch what is happening right now with Apple taking out 217. Possible move up there to 219. So maybe we should just like trust ourselves and wait for that. We did reloaded a little bit here on the TQ. So let's put something back in the low 50s here. We just got a 65 or so there on this, or even higher than, 65s. And we just put a 51 out. So we'll see if we can get something there on this level. So far, so good here, but not much happening. There, we get a 51 fill there on the market. So a little bit of a pushback there. I'm hoping for a bigger flush than this. So yeah, there. Okay, all right. Well, that just what? That just happened, and we just got, that's crazy. I was like, let's just hope for a bigger flush, and then flush came through. So, okay, we're back, baby. We got reloaded on this NASDAQ play, and so far so good right here on that trade. So nice downside push. I'd comment on Neil's positions, but as he had mentioned there, we do not have the position board up. So Apple 260 for me. Probably thinking about a spot now to get out. What about 216.60? If it breaks 216.50, maybe we should do it. But we're singing the tune right now with the TQQs. My number one stock, and really the only one that will be up a decent amount on as we wait to see what's going to happen now with Apple. We'll come back and check on Neil in a second after Adara.
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Becoming a funded trader means trading with the firm's money instead of your own. At Trade the Pool, you first complete an evaluation by hitting profit targets while managing risk. Once you pass, you get access to up to $260,000 in buying power. You keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm covers the risk. It's the perfect way to trade big without risking your own funds. Ready to become a funded trader? Join Trade the Pool. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description.
Shout out and a thank you to Trade the Pool there. So I want to give an update on Alphabet because it was the first
of all, because Randy made.
I am 100% down for a refill or a coffee. Thank you very much for asking.
As well.
Alphabet, which I have not been in since the original dip, did not get to VWAP, so no re-entry there. I know I was in it the one time. It pulled 156.5 to 157.5. It's now continuing its stretch run a little bit higher to set upside. AMD finally in a bit of a pullback right into there's your opening range top 153.18, and then it dipped off that once, looking for a dip the second time through. If it loses that 18 level, I do want to jump out of it, but it's starting to pull back in here. If there's going to be a short, it's weird, but as I was saying, AMD going. Sorry about the chart. You know what? I'm just going to show you guys a black chart for NVIDIA because this one's fine. So this is NVIDIA. Check out what's happening here at the 118 level. It just keeps on trying to break, keeps on trying to break. It's starting to roll over. NVIDIA is starting to look a little bit weak relative to these other chip names. And I think this one's probably a short to me as the market's trying to pull back. As long as it does a bit of a head and shoulders here underneath the 118 level. Micron busted it out on me, so I'm not going to go back into that until it sets up again. And Intel still looking to grab these 30s if we can on the bid. It just double tapped the top though. You know what? That's a double top.
Bring it.
Oh, this is come down. No, double top on Intel, wick. No, that's a reversal. I'm off the bid of this stock.
All right, yeah, I agree with something's going on.
Clear double
nothing's
top.
Going on, but it's just, yeah, the market's making some moves right now. 216.40 is my out now for Apple. We just wicked down there a couple times. This sort of, back and forth here. We just want to make sure we grab that profit, right? So a good trade again for this one on not Boeing, but here we go. Coming through right now for the market, not crashing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a downside push. And all we've been doing is shorting. Oh, my. Good one. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Who was that? You, Patrick? Yeah, my daughter yesterday comes over to me, and she starts going... She's finally starting to learn how to whistle right there. And I'm like, great. Like, I'm so happy and so proud that I taught you how to whistle. Now stop whistling. You know what I mean? But
it's so much fun, though.
Yeah, it's so much fun, though, right there. And anyways, it's like when your kids start walking around. It's like, oh, my God, they're walking. And then you take the videos of them, and it's so great. And it's like, oh, they're... And then all of a sudden, it's like, man, I wish that kid just started crawling again because now they're into everything. And you got to monitor them.
Be careful.
Yeah, that just reminded me there. But there's a nice move right there. It's not Weed Batman, but the market sure is getting a little downside action. We have to watch out for MSOS. That was moving around a little bit as well, but a good move back there. When you can get high of day, and we always talk about this, I should have been sitting there. We're at 17s on that drip down because we did not have a bid there, but you should always be at VWAP or at a 50-period moving average. So let's go back. I mean, we were bidding 30s, which is good enough, but right now things have changed. So, all right, Adara's over at the screen, so let's go find out what she's up to.
Nice look for the Russell 2000, which has been pretty strong over the last few days. IWM making a nice bottoming tail candle here, now currently up about 0.5%. and near day's highs. So let's see how this one unfolds from here. Quite a few interesting names on the small cap recap today, including Microalgo, MLGO. This one generally making some higher lows here. It has run in the past, currently up about 50%. Not seeing any news on this one, but worth noting about a 13.7% short float. Market cap here of about $1.6 million. So MLGO on watch here. Next up, we have Nucana, NCNA. This one's also run before, announcing that there was some positive results for its melanoma treatment here. So NCNA up more than 150%. Last but not least, Bone Biologics, BBLG. This is another repeat runner, up over 100%. No news, but lots of pre-market social media attention. We got a $1.7 million market cap and a 1.44 million share float. So pretty small float and market cap for BBLG, guys.
There we go. And by the way, Bitcoin is making a bit of a move to the lows here. Just there you go, trying to break these lows. So when I was saying, I may not short that Coinbase after all, well, something changed when the market made that little bit of a reversal, and now Bitcoin is at that bottom. I'm watching Mara here. It looks a little bit better than Coinbase because it's a very clear, there's your rounded top, there's your failure over 16. Now it's putting in a bit of a lower high. Any failure to break the high, I'm looking to short back into the high of the day. The initial plan was I actually preferred Coinbase to Mara, but suddenly this one sets up a little better for a fade off of those highs. I canceled the bid on Intel when it looked like a reversal play. So I was on the bid, and then I saw it double tap 2050, go right up to the high, wick the high, and then fall back down. So that looks like a reversal to me, and I'm not really feeling that long anymore. So we're not on Intel long, or at least on the bid anymore. Just jumped over into Mara, just liked it a little bit better than Coinbase with Bitcoin taking out that bottom. A little bit of a head and shoulders action happening. Looking for VWAP retracement here, short 1602. The only thing we're in.
Bang. How my futures traders doing right now, baby? This is a good one. Again, we're short literally the high of the day there. So if you're going to be a futures trader and trading with us, that's 19,690. You're now at 19,630. So it's 60 handles right there for you on the futures. Yeah, Warren, you just worry about Oxy and whatnot, and we'll get that all figured out. Yeah, that's tomorrow, my guy. All right, these guys are very, very excited about these futures trades. But you know what? Let's just wait to see what winds up happening. You are starting to go a little bit lower. I'm going to get something out. I shouldn't do this because psychologically this makes no difference on the TQs. But it is dropping back into the lowest spot we've been at in the last hour. So we should take some profit here, I feel like, right? As we start to go to the downside, the biggest trade here of the day will be with the TQQs for me to the downside, obviously, as this is the profitable name. Apple, we did get out on that break. So Apple does break. I mean, let's go, man. That's another props there for Apple as we'll go long at 214, out at 216.50. That's a $250 winner on that. And we are getting lighter. We only have about 30% left. Maybe a little bit less than that on this triple Q position, but I think the market could fall back in. I mean, you're under VWAP, you're under everything. So I have no more bids on this name until we get to 65.80. So I'm going to put one there right now, 65.85. Let's put a bid there, see if we can sit there and get that fill. So right now we're looking for that one. Nice move back in, man. It's 70 cents on the futures. It is almost right now. We're in 80 handle winner right now. Let's see if we can continue to make a move. But Apple, mind blown right now. And whoever that individual was that said that this was possibly a story to look at a little more carefully, it was on our watch list, obviously. Both of us looking at Apple there today. We lost early, won late. And now it's trying to give some back underneath. But look at this, man. There it is. We could have a dollar winner. There it goes right there. Wow. Into the gates of hell goes the futures. If you're trading futures, then hopefully you're with me on this one. Big move. We're now almost 100 handles in the money on this futures trade. Good job, anyone that hit anything on that way. And again, Neil, myself, and the whole team here apologize as our board.
It's being look.
Let's just hope it gets up for the midday. And
Yeah, it's being worked on.
Yeah, it's being worked on.
We apologize for that, obviously. I know everyone's used to the same standard that we've been given every single day, which is to be able to show it. All we can do is tell you what's going on, right? Like, that's the best we can do. So I'm only in tomorrow. I canceled bids on Intel after that reversal. That said, it is holding up. So good for them. Intel did not break lower as the market went lower. So this is, again, I cancel my bids because it was looking weak on a double top 2050. But now all of a sudden, it's looking like this should be a reversal play. All I'm going to do here is say this is VWAP, this is the trend, and it's breaking the trend. If it does not break back above 2050, I feel like Intel is going to be a short, but the only position I am in is Mara, just above the 16 level, bit of a head and shoulders. It just failed Friday afternoon's tops right in here, and then pulling right back underneath. So underneath 16, I think VWAP is next in play. If 58,000 goes, there's no reason why this can't be back at its low of the day. I know we've been ignoring Tesla a little bit here. I thought maybe Tesla was going to press back into 230. But no luck in sight. It's consolidating underneath morning support on Friday. So I think this is an easy over-under here for Tesla. Either it breaks that 227.5, or this one's going to fall like everything else. Randy, thank you so much for the reload on the coffee. We appreciate you. We're about to get... Oh, wait a minute. We're about to get the crypto update in a second. I'm kind of curious to see if this 58,000 holds. Because if it does... If it does, then I feel like VWAP's going to hold on Mara. I'm short Mara, just above 16. If 58,000 does a bit of a bounce, I'm expecting VWAP to bounce here on MARA.
I've got Sharif right beside me, and I know Sharif likes 100-handle winners on the futures. So there it comes. It's a nice push down. And I was going to say something to Randy. We wrote down on here, we're feeling short. We're feeling short. We talked about that all day. We like the long on Apple at those levels. We took it. Other than that, man, we've been feeling short. We write it down on here. So this is what makes me happy, because the largest position here today, obviously, most profitable position for me are the future shorts. So when you're feeling that way, you got to take it. Unfortunately, NVIDIA, man, why couldn't we get those feels at 118? But there's a nice push back in for NVIDIA. So if you've been short this name, I gave it up for that 50 cents there. But if we had just held it, it's making the move back down in. Again, we're pretty proud of the trading today. We got out of the way of a lot of these trades. But right now, as Neil mentioned, we are getting ready for the crypto minute. And for that, we go to the desk with Adara.
Third straight day to the downside here for BTC after climbing above the 60,000 level to end off the week there on Friday the 13th. We're currently just pushing below 58,000, so just around 57,900. Still currently at day's lows here. Actually, interestingly enough, on that Friday that we ended up to the upside, we actually had the highest single day inflows since July 22nd. For those BTC ETFs. So as BTC, which is the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF, leading the pack there with 102 million in inflows. Then next up we had ARK, ARKB, so ARK's Bitcoin ETF there with 99 million in inflows. So some different groups leading the pack on the largest inflows in almost 2 months there for BTC ETFs on Friday. BTC, like I said here, now pushing below that 57,900 level, down about 3%. Ethereum down about 5%, giving up that 2,300 level. Generally pretty weak across the board for a lot of these names. Tron slightly positive, but you have Dogecoin down about 5%, Ripple down about 3%, Cardano down about 5.5%. Not a great way to start the week for crypto, guys.
No, not a great way to start the week, and taking out those 58,000 just got taken out to the downside. So I got some at Mara, and it's now testing VWAP in there. ARM is now down 7%.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so looking a little bit nasty on ARM, as strong as it was on Friday. This just lost the 50 period on the daily, and if we make some fresh lows, this feels like it's a bit of an event happening here for ARM. 140 was that 50 period moving average. This is going to trend down. I keep looking over for, like, if NVIDIA is going to do something a little bit bigger, but it's ARM that's making the biggest move here in all of the chip space. I feel like that one should be the one to trade. Just like on Friday. On Friday, stare down NVIDIA and ARM was a bigger move. Same thing here on Monday. You stare down NVIDIA and ARM is the bigger move. So I'm slapping the fail on myself because I should have learned that lesson. and I've been ready. I was looking shorts on NVIDIA. NVIDIA's not giving them to you. ARM is the one that's giving it to you. So I want to look to short pops there. Intel's still, it's still looking like a reversal. It just hasn't really set up a short that I like until just now. When I tried to grab it on that trend reverse, I did not get to fill, so I can tell you, hey, look, people got short. No, that's just me offering, trying to grab the fill here at 2040 as it broke the trend a little bit to the downside. So double top on Intel at 20.5, technically 20.55, and looking to short pops back into VWAP. But Mara is the only thing that I am in to the sell side as it's testing VWAP. Fresh lows there on BTC. I think this is a short that pops. As long as we lose that 50 or keep underneath that 58 or at that 58 is the short that pops all the way into the lows. But man, it's an ugly day for ARM. That's the one I got to short any pop into. So we're only in Mara on offer of 2040 of Intel and then ARM looking to short back in. So here comes that 1 point already in Mara, trying to break VWAP as we speak.
Boy, oh boy. Oh man. I mean, I really like golfing, but I think I like trading a little bit better. I mean, we're short at the top of the day, and we're getting out at the bottom of the day right now. So top of the morning to you, 66.60 short, all the way down to the bottom. It is now $1. It is now 100 plus handles on the futures to the downside. So there it is. What's up, Adam? What's up, everybody there in the chat? As it just keeps on making them sing, baby, to the downside. So Neil talked about some trading there on Friday. I'm sure there were some bangers. This is a big one right here on the TQQs. I hope you guys enjoy that trading. I hope you enjoy this dip buy on Apple as well, as I'm thinking about breaking this top actually on Apple right now as it wants to get going backside. We are near the bottom. I don't even want to, I don't even want to give this one up yet. Wow, Neil. Oh my, right now. The damage is being put on the futures. Stay in your lanes right now, as there it goes right back into the downside. And again, we talked about this early, man. We wanted the short. We wanted the short on the TQs. It's all about right here. Stay short, looking short. Even a note about the FOMC. Stay short. And that's what we did. We are short. We are short. Did I mention already that we have over almost now 180 handles on the futures, as there it goes to the downside. Also been, Dewey printing. I mean, everybody right now, it's a print factory. We need something where we're firing off a print gun, a money gun or something around here. John Travolta's like, wow, that's short. We have this. Oh my, Neil. Wow. These shorts are really coming in right now. Bye-bye market. Now down one and change. It's always nice when that's sort of what we've been talking about all morning keeps going back and forth.
Bye-bye.
There it goes. Huge move down on the TQs. And we're sitting in there cashing it out. I mean, this is the trade right here. So let's see what happens next. But there goes the Qs.
Yeah, there goes the Qs. Great look over there. And I'm out of Mara now. Bitcoin made the break of the low. There's your break of 58,000. There is your next bottom in here. This is a 15-minute chart. Let me get that. Whoops. Now you want to show me other ads? There you go. So you just made another bounce or attempted bounce off the next support at 57.6. Once that came in, Mara was pretty much right on the line, bouncing off morning support, morning breakout levels of 15.65. So 16.02 all the way down to 15.68. Goes a couple of points very quickly, goes to the next spot. I'm out of it. Tesla, Tesla didn't really give you that much of a chance to get in that 227.5. That's now rolling over again. I feel like Tesla is still a short. Don't know if we're going to be able to grab that one. So out of Mara, I said we're going to go ARM short if it does any kind of a pop. Well, ARM's pop was very, very muted, and it's still heading down into the downside. So it's been one of those mornings where all you had to do is be very, very particular and patient. I actually wanted coin short at that 58 level, but picked Mara. Coin was at the moment looking a little bit stronger, and I think it was the right decision. So coin, you could have had it through 160. It's already back in through VWAP. Meanwhile, Mara is just trying to bounce and go back into VWAP. So I feel like we got the right one to look for that short trade. ARM down 7% and looking rather nasty, but the market is trying to make a bounce off of those lows. I'm going to look for some re-entries on the shorts. VWAP can be in play here. If VWAP doesn't hold underneath on Mara, then I'd want to short back at the 16 level where we got that one before. 1320 Wolf saying Moderna's moving. Oh my goodness, forgot all about Moderna and its continuation. Moderna caught a bid like wildfire after getting the dump city on Thursday, I think it was. Caught a big bid on Thursday, but it has yet to break out from that level. It's like $71, I think, on Moderna, or maybe 71.5. Yeah, 71.5 that it would need to break through, and then all of a sudden you can start to fill in a little bit of that gap. Yeah, 71.5 is the big level here for mRNA. But good luck, 1320 Wolf. You want to find something relatively strong because the market's weak.
All right. Yeah, we got back into NVIDIA here. We're long at 116.70 just off VWAP. We're going to try to play off of this bottom here of 116 flat. So we'll see if that wants to come in at some point here for NVIDIA as we're underneath. And we had talked about some of the levels that we liked on our sticky note earlier, and there was 120 short. We didn't write down anything on the bid side for NVDA. So just trying to have a look. Forget about these wicks, obviously. But right into there, 116, 117. We've already breached those lower. So that tick tonight will have to be that 115.90 or so, breaking a little bit lower through there. Let's see if we can hold on. We still do have, I mean, we only have less than 10% left now on the NASDAQ short, which is why if, you know, it feels like it's gone down enough here, we will try to buy some more NVIDIA. I don't know. I feel like it's a little early to do it, but we'll buy some 64, 65s here. We'll give an average price of 70 if we get this fill. We bought 74s. Now we'll buy 64s. Did we get it? No, not yet. There it is. Now we get it. So we're just long right here at VWAP. So 60s. Let's see if it holds, man, against 116. We're going to try it down there. Hopefully it does. So a little bit of a bid here. If we're getting more at 50, we'll do that. We don't want to average in at horrible prices. We'd rather get in much closer to that bottom, than if it breaks, it breaks. But I think it's probably worth a VWAP hold now. Futures at this bottom. Let's see if it comes in. So there it is. We're now long NVIDIA 116.58. So if it fills higher, we'll get something out around 117 because that's where we stopped. And then we'll wait for, again, like bottoms. We already talked about this. Back to the 50 is good enough for me. So right now it's 10 cents in the money. We're not going to do that. Let's see if it gets back to 90s. And then maybe O's, and then we'll work on it after that. So here we go. Nice little dip buy opportunity there for us on NVIDIA. Back in the money, 25 cents. All right, well, if it's working, it's working. Nice push back up there for NVIDIA as they came back and bought the strong names. I'm going to get a piece out right there at 79 ahead of 80s, and then we'll put a 90 out there. One more print upside. We just bought, oh no, we just missed our 79s there. Oh, there it is. All right, good trade right there. Now 30 cents in the money on this NVIDIA buyback. So yeah, making a little bit of coinage right there. 1040 Adara.
Lots of weakness here in some of these sectors, particularly ones with Mag 7 names. We have Apple sharply to the downside, NVIDIA, Tesla, and Amazon all particularly weak as well. Let's start here with electronic technology. Lots of weakness in a lot of these semiconductor names, particularly Broadcom here, pretty weak. AMD to the downside as well. It's a little bit more mixed in the technology services sector. Oracle staying strong after their earnings last week and some other strength. We also have here lots of strength in the finance sector, pretty much great across the board here. Health technology with some standouts, particularly MRK. Process industries, communications, utilities, energy, minerals, all pretty strong here as well. Retail trade on watch a little bit here. We have Costco earnings in a few weeks. Amazon bringing this group to the downside, but generally pretty muted as a whole. Let's see how this shapes up as we continue to await the Fed meeting on Wednesday, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much there, Adair. Appreciate it. We are getting a bit of the market just wicked the bottoms in there, and VWAP just came into play. Another bounce here on Intel, as this might set up where we don't get a chance at the break, at the dip buy, and end up having to take the breakout at 20.5 here. So I'm on the bid. I wanted to see it bounce VWAP first, make those higher lows that we can play into. If we don't get the bid in the 30s, then we're going to look for a 20.55 break. What's going to happen first, however, is Tesla. Tesla, that's a huge reversal on Tesla here just now. If it breaks 60s, breakout right here, 227.60. This felt like it was one of the weaker names all morning, and the reversal candle that this just put in, there's no news here or anything. It just put in a monster reversal candle, and this resistance at 227.60 looking like it wants to break out. So anytime I see a V shape like this, I feel like it's trapped some shorts underneath there. You had to grab that last little breakdown, I think, on Tesla if you liked it. But suddenly this looks like higher lows into a flat top break. As I said, I'll be on the bit of Intel one more time in here. Still like the bear move. Going to leave up Tesla because it might break out. Still like the bear move on Mara. It can't seem to get back above VWAP. I'll give it another chance to retest it. We're still under 58,000 on BTC, so I'm still favoring the shorts here in Mara as it's starting to lose VWAP. But that was a big time reverse on Tesla. I think this was setting up a breakout into 229 and then maybe even 230. Has to give me the break, otherwise we're not going to get in. That's a limit order that I have through. Like, I'm not filled on this position. It's a limit order. If it breaks the local high, I'll be going long on TSLA. So just looking at that for the break, and then shorts here on Mara at VWAP, which I was just showing to you guys, back underneath the 15.8 price. If we take out 58,000, I might decide not to be shorting Mara anymore, but as long as we're underneath, I still like that. I feel like every time I stare down a breakout trade, it decides not to. Got within 8 cents of breaking out that high, and now it's pulling back.
Tesla. I like Tesla. Good stock to trade. I like NVIDIA to trade as well. We just took 50 cents on that one, or more a little bit on it as it came back up. We got 117 flat. They're still 48 cents. What am I talking about? And then we just stopped. We said that our target would sort of be the 50-period moving average. Not to think that it would bounce directly off of it, but that is exactly what happened. So again, buying the dip and then out on the upside here. Not great. We'd like to, we're only out of 40% of it. We'd like to get out of a heck of a lot more if we're able to do that. So I should have had an offer up there again. We're still $1 in the money on this one though, which is nice to see. So we'll see if we can hold on to our push on the TQs now. As we shorted that one, we already got the bottom. We have the top of, I mean, this is futures trading. You guys want to talk about real trading. And I say to myself too, like, I don't want to scalp as much out. So when you have the top of the day and the bottom of the day, that's not scalping. So right there, boom and boom for that. So we'll have to wait for it. NVIDIA's pushing back down. Don't really like that one at all as we've faded right back into VWAP, but maybe we do get an opportunity. That's still 66s, so we're still a little bit higher. I'm going to take an opportunity to buy some down here if we can get it into the 60s. There it is. We get it right there. So that was quick. We just get a 67 reload there. We'll see if it wants to hold again. We're just getting a little bit lighter up there. We'll reload it again. I'm going to wait for 116 to see if that wants to break. If it does, then we will get out loading up down here, 116.30 if it does come in. So that's going to be a good trade, a next opportunity for me. Good reload at 67 if it can hold. So that's something else that we're looking at. We could check out Boeing. Boeing's been a name that we talked about early, and I don't think looked at it.
Kind of a
flat on the day. So yeah, Boeing not going, just doing this. Potential break there of 158. I guess for Boeing is looking pretty good. And then yeah, not much happening there.
This Till stock.
Yeah, what is that one?
So last week, Till did some ridiculous things and then kind of failed $90 right at the end of the day, it failed 90. Huge gap to the downside. Now remember, this was a $15 stock. I want to say, no, it was a $10 stock just going back to September 9th. So it feels like it's on the other side of the trade. I know a lot of people are looking at this for a long, but that was a big gap downside. It's trying to break it back out. If it can't hold above like the mid 70s, this one might be in some trouble. Anytime you trap longs in a stock that went $10 to $90, if you're trapping anybody on a breakout today, that's a very dangerous trade. It could always go to $100. Now, if you're in this long, good luck. I'm not looking at this for a long trade at all, but some volume just came into it. I did just reload Mara. Tesla still hasn't broken out. Mara at VWAP, so reloaded the short, just trying to play a lower high game as long as 58 is in the rear view. Going to get bids back in those 60s. That's where the support seems to be, those mid 60s, 1560s on MARA. So no breakout yet on Tesla. That's actually starting to pull back in here. So we jumped back into the Mara short. Tesla doesn't want to break it out at all. So Mara's probably going to end up working out. And then Intel also not trying to break out the highs. So I'm waiting for VWAP or a break as well on Intel. Intel at the high of the day when the market's at the lows. Said this morning it was a bit of a bizarro world. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why. Because Usually this is not a stock which is at the high of the day very often.
All right, we're getting close to, again, like, it's like, instead of dip buying things, like, I feel like NVIDIA could still work, but I mean, it's right at that 116 level. We're long at 116.40s right now. 116.45 is our average price. We told you we'd get some 30s. We just got some out at 30 there to give us a little bit of a better price. We got it of 10% because we almost broke 116 here on NVIDIA. So we're long right here right now. I'm going to put another offer at 40 just to take some out. That was really close, man. We almost got stopped out there. So let's wait. Hopefully we do get a bounce back up. We're still short the futures, but it's the NVIDIA trade that we're much more focused on right now. Like that VWAP is at 65. Like that would be nice to get something there. We're long right here at 45s. So we're flat on this trade right here, but we just took some out at 30s and we took some out at 40s. So we're down about 10 cents overall on about 10% of the trade. So hopefully we can get back upside, take something out in the 50s, like 55, 56 to make back what we had already lost. But for right now, it looks like NVIDIA having a hard time getting going. I mean, can it go? Obviously it can, but at the same time, it's down 2.3%. So let's not let our opinion on like dip buying NVIDIA be too affected by what we see in the market. And the market right now is underneath and pushing lows. So right now, it doesn't really make much sense to be really layered into this. So we will ease out of some here and correct the wrongs, or try to, and get out of a piece of that while still holding to see if we can have a winner. We can't just get in and out of things every time by panicking and being like, oh my God, we're wrong, punch out. I could do it right now and basically just put my hands up and say, I'll take a 10-cent hit. But let's just wait to see what happens with NVIDIA. Give it a second. But the futures are not helping out the cause. That is for sure. We're $1.50 in the money. I mean, look what we're doing right now.
Again.
Like we're doing this right here on the futures, but we are doing this on NVIDIA. So big, huge trade on the futures. We should have just stuck with those and only traded that. But, you know, we're here and we are trading NVIDIA. So right now, out amazing 20 cents now on NVIDIA, waiting to see if it can go. Sorry, not 20 cents, just 10 cents. Okay, come on, NVIDIA. Get back above 116.50, man. Just one little push on this and get people thinking that they should be long also. And then we can get this name going back upside. NVIDIA trying to go a little bit more here. We're long NVDA with only 10 minutes left.
Apparently, it's well. I'm gonna get to Tesla in a quick little second, but let's go to the desk. We've got Money Talks with Adara.
The DXY continuing to bounce around in this range off some pretty clear support and resistance areas on the chart here. We have some strength or the resistance coming in here, 101.75s. Continued support here at 100.6 and actually getting some wicks here at the bottom side of this range. So interesting area to watch out for. The only economic data we're getting today is the 8:30 a.m. New York Fed manufacturing print. This came in much higher than expecting. So we got 11.5 for September compared to the forecast of negative 4.3 and the previous print of negative 4.7 for August. So positive, surprise positive print here for September. Tomorrow we'll get retail sales for month-over-month basis at 8:30 a.m. But key is going to be this FOMC meeting that we're getting on Wednesday with the rate decision at 2 on Wednesday, September 18th, and 2:30 we'll get the comments from Fed Chair Powell. We have Goldman Sachs here actually raising their 6-month and 12-month price targets here for the SPY, so some bullishness there. And it's also worth noting some Democratic senators, including Elizabeth Warren, apparently urging the Fed to cut rates by 75 basis points on Wednesday. We're expecting anything from a 25 to a 50 basis point cut, so let's see how this all turns out, guys.
Not to disappoint you, Elizabeth, there is not going to be a 75 basis point cut on Wednesday. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I feel like every now and then you got to go out on a limb and say that. I mean, it's nonsensical, but whatever. Headline's a headline, and now she just got a headline. So I guess that's
what politicians want.
No,
right?
that's a win. Like she got the headline, and now we've just said her name 3 times. So it is what it is. There was just a bounce on Tesla off of VWAP. It was wild because it nicked VWAP and then flew to the upside. We threw to Adara. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It wasn't quick enough to catch the fill. Intel just took out the top. So, look, if I didn't get it the first time, just going to cancel. Whoops, I canceled the stop order in addition to the bid. I'm just going to cancel the bid at VWAP. If it bounces again, I'll try to pick it up. But I'm not just going to sit there. We'll see if we can catch it the other way. I still like a break of this local high. It doesn't seem like it wants to go just yet, but I'm going to throw that one back in there. It's 220. It's not 227.5. This local top is 227.60. So it's actually a break of 227.60 that Tesla would have to do. As quickly as it was bouncing off VWAP, it's going to retest it here. So I'd like to see it hold VWAP, but I do also want this breakout whenever it does happen. Just going to throw this back in so you can see. There you go. And then INTC, Intel, I should say, broke out the top. So it broke out 20.55. It's not necessarily a blue sky setup because you still have levels at $22, but you don't have much of anything else standing in its way outside of, like, there was a dark pool wake up at 21, and when you zoom out this rounded bottom on Intel, there we go. When you zoom out this rounded bottom, once it clears out about 2070, you've got here at 21 even, and that's just the day that it dumped off 22. So I think you can get to 21 here, but it's going to need to buck the trend of the futures the rest of the way here because it's trying to break out highs when the future's on those lows. So Intel's trying to go. It's at 55, and I'm long at 56, but up 4.5%. And yeah, Tesla's still back at VWAP. Maybe we don't get this breakout after all this waiting for the Tesla break of 227.60.
It's up to Walter, and for my next trick. There it is right now, abracadabra. There it is right now. It's NVIDIA, it's 50 cents. We just took some out at 116.80 right there. I'm not even waiting for the 200. Let's blast through 117. I'm gonna wait for the 50 period, which is above at 117.15. I'm actually sitting right there right now at 117.15. So let's go right now on NVDA as it's trying to make them sing back there up to the upside. We had already stamped our buy on Intel at the beginning of the day right there. So that was a good one. Good trading over there on INTC. Let's see if that keeps on going upside. We also said Upstart would find a bid down there near 35, 36. Right down into here into 32, 33. That's exactly what it did, man. It went into our exact level and then shot up 10%. So we have to be a little more prudent about our plays on that one. But oh no, right there, make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. But right now, we going off on one round, baby. There goes NVIDIA up to 117 again. So it's starting to get going to the upside with the market. If it can break 19.6, that's a good one. We're $1 in the money on the futures still, waiting to see about this 16.8 break. Maybe back up through VWAP, we'll get a piece out. But again, by far, the number one name here today will be the TQQs. I don't know what the number one stock on Friday was. It sounded like you guys were looking at Oracle, so that was probably a good one. And then NVIDIA right now, trying to get going. My stop is down here, but I'm looking to get out at 117.17 or 117.15, and then I do have another offer at high of day near 118. Sharif, what are you guys doing today? Reversals. So we had a couple of those today in the market. So if you want to figure out how to maybe find said reversals, we had one right there, and then a couple up top where this one's a little slower, this one more dramatic. So an instant flush down, probably something to do with some of the sell imbalances that hit off the first 5 minutes, and then a move right back up to 19.7, which guess what? That's exactly where we're short in the futures at 19.7 right now, printing over 120 handles in the money as we speak. So yeah, it's at NVIDIA long. Maybe we're being stubborn, not getting a piece out again at the 200 period, but let's be like that and see if, well, this might actually come down. All right, let's go to 117 flat because now the 50 period is getting into that area. So we'll put out an offer into the 90s. We'll go 96. Cancel our 15s, and then see if we get something a little bit higher. Waiting for 118, man, high of the day.
Yeah, and thank you in the chat for all the symbols and all the ideas and all the things you're throwing out to each other. We can't cover absolutely everything. I'm just in Intel. I'm going to go over Apple in a second. This JBDI is under, it's halted multiple times in here today. So I know this was one of the ones moving in. Actually, it looks like it only halted the one time, now that I look at it. I thought it was multiple, but it's like the one time. And then rejected this whole price at 39.4. So you don't often see this where you have a halt and a reopen as the actual top, which gives you this weird double top. The last time I saw this and something like that broke a high, it was pretty nasty in terms of how far it went. I feel like it was Siri back in the day. I'm pretty sure that was the symbol. But it's all green candles on the 15-minute despite this retracement on JBDI. I'm just going to double check. I feel like this is like a recent IPO or something because we only have data from this until August. Pretty sure this is like a recent IPO. But if it takes out that top, should be a nice and interesting one. Now it's going to lose VWAP because I just said it. Tesla still hasn't broken top, but it is trending towards this 227.60 breakout. Higher lows all the way through. Tesla down a point, but certainly looking like it wants to bust out the top here. I'm looking breakout through this half and then into 229 to be sure on Tesla. Apple, which I said I would get back over to. I've only shorted Apple twice, once off the open and then another time off 216 here. That one only gave us to VWAP. Now it's holding underneath VWAP on Apple. So the 216 looking like resistance again. So early break could not take out those pre-market highs or resistance levels, I should say, and you're getting lower highs back in on Apple. The news just being some concern over iPhone 16 and all that stuff. But suddenly this is looking weak again on Apple. It was a big rebound trade, looking weak underneath this 216. If we lose a 215 flat bottom break, I want to have been short back into VWAP first. We only have about 2 minutes to go. If Tesla doesn't break, I'm still leaving that order there. Unless news happens on Tesla or the market just starts breaking fresh lows, I'm taking that breakout on Tesla.
There's a great point in the chat, and we do apologize. Can we please, Ramin, put a pinned comment for sure the after show? We should have had it in there. Thank you, Ramin, for that one. Yeah, the position board is down and will be down for until further notice, right? So Sharif will be trading there and updating you, as will Adara, on their positions, as I hope that we did a decent job of that as well. I'm only short the triple Qs. Right now, 100 handles plus in the money. We talked about that. That's the NASDAQ trade. And then we're waiting for NVIDIA to pop. It just went to 116.80 there again, and we're waiting at 117. So hopefully we'll get that fill coming through. And then I don't have anything else on my mind right now other than the fact that the market pretty slow. We talked about it being choppy, but preferred short. So being stuck long on NVIDIA, I don't know if we like this trade or not, but I do have my targets, 117, then 118 and change. And if we drop 116 right there, which we almost got stopped out of this position, man, we were like a dime piece away from getting stopped out on that trade to begin with. So yeah, man, reversals is what's going to be the talk. I hope you did enjoy the show. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll be back obviously at 2 p.m. Plus, if you're looking for some trading on Fed Day on Wednesday, we'll be back 1:45. Neil and I will be taking the reins a little bit early from Sharif and Adara. But if you're also looking for lessons and whatnot, Adara and Sharif all week talking about reversal patterns, which I think will be very, very important, especially come Fed Day, because we always get that little reversal off of Fed. Like the market goes down, then Powell speaks, and then they wait for him to leave, and then pop, vice versa. So we'll wait to see the action on that.
The podium should be big.
Yeah.
The podium should be really big on Wednesday.
And of course, as they say in the chat there from Mango, buy DJT. I don't know.
No.
I haven't even looked at it.
Whoa. No. DJT was the biggest missed opportunity. It was the easiest short. I don't know if you could have gotten filled here. I shouldn't say it's the easiest short because there's been a couple of breakdown trades to even dollars that we weren't able to get liquidity on. But it broke $18 right away at the open and bounced off 17 just recently here. So it's moving to the downside. It is 11 o'clock. We do need to get on over to Learn to Trade. It's market. Sharif. It's Adara. Let's go.
Buy some more, but market going down.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl Adara in the lovely suit. And I